Okay, so we're waiting for two people.
Yeah.
We're waiting
No, the green one.
for Mr. Wanayak,
He's
who's
got more.
owner of flat number 1. And we're waiting for Mr. Conveer Bath, who's owner of flat 7.
Do you have the agenda?
Yeah.
Do you have the
Tea,
agenda?
coffee,
I've
all
had a
fine,
problem
or
with
do you
my
want me to? I can dish out.
I'll come and help you dish out if you like. Right. Can I have my green pens,
What would
please?
you like? Anything? Tea,
Fine.
coffee? Tea, coffee?
Thank you. So nice.
My pen, please. Yeah, I've got to go and buy a newsprint from there. And suddenly, I've tried cleaning it.
Is it
tried
that
everything.
Sinclair?
No, it's brother. You have to share, that's the way.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
It's not the first line.
Yeah, I know. You haven't got an agenda.
It's all in there, isn't it? It's all in there. Shall we put it up on an overhead?
I thought that's what Tarek said. I mean, Amir said you were going to put this up on an overhead.
Yeah, I did ask Viv.
In fairness, if you're going to use the agenda, he hasn't responded to my letter, which I sent to him on Wednesday, which was crucial, because I would have amended my agenda accordingly. I think we're going to do things, let's do it properly. Let's not do it piecemeal, and let's not do it to suit personal agendas.
No personal.
Well, we can get agreement on the agenda before we start.
Yeah,
It's not.
I sent you a properly constituted email to say, please could you answer these in readiness for Saturday. There's people here who own companies, which the Articles of Association don't allow to have any vote. And I said to you...
No, that's not right. No,
well, I think if
that's
you...
not right.
Well,
Okay,
then that's a point of dispute.
Can we defer this until everybody's here?
It could have been answered prior to today.
We'll defer this until everybody's here.
Yeah. We don't want to start the meeting until everyone's here, to be fair.
No,
Yeah.
I don't intend to. What I'm
No,
saying,
no, I'm just saying,
if we're
even
talking
this
about
is,
agendas,
I just asked if anyone had a
It's-
copy of it, that was all.
yeah. If we are, let's do it properly. That's all.
I'm good. Oh, you drink tea? Thank you.
I could do two at a time.
I have two, because I wasn't going to say yes, but I think a tea would be nice, thank you.
There is tea and coffee available.
Yeah, lovely.
No, Phil's is fine. Phil's is fine. Yeah, you're tea.
I also asked the question, have you managed to get all the information prior to 2000 regarding Parkfield? That would have been very helpful.
Okay.
No, do you have it with you?
Shall we?
We'll defer that to when we
Well,
start.
just,
We'll defer that.
do you have it, or
We'll defer that to when we start the meeting.
just
I'm waiting
a
for
simple
everybody.
question? Do you have copies?
Yes, we
of
don't
it?
have it. We don't have
I'm
it.
waiting for
Doesn't have
everybody
it.
to...
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
I'm telling you, we don't have it.
So, what a great way to spend a Saturday.
Isn't it? Wonderful. And a bank holiday Saturday.
And
as
a
well.
bank holiday, so we've got 2 days
Yeah.
to recover.
It's quite a nice drive down from Manchester.
Probably picked the better day, I would have thought, in terms of travel. Are you going back today?
Yeah. How long did it take you?
3 hours?
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah. There's no sugar in anything.
Lovely.
Tim, what did you say you wanted?
Tea, please.
And we used to live up in Cheshire. Whereabouts? It's in a little village called Westbrook. Right. Yeah, you know the North West Corner.
Yeah. We were walking around Chorlton Water Park, wasn't it, last week?
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful.
I mean, that part of that where you want to live.
Do you think Mr. Bath and Mrs. Winick will know where to come?
But they should call someone.
Mr. Wanayak has my number.
All right, he's lost. I'm just saying, because this is not the usual hall.
Well, he's a local, isn't he? He lives local.
Yeah, but even so, this hall is at the back, that's what I'm saying.
Because we've met before.
We've always met in the Richardson room, yeah.
Yeah. So you go up and round.
My aunt.
Yes.
I mean,
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hello, nice to meet you. Number 7.
Oh, no, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
Trust
That's
me,
lovely.
well, we're part of it.
Number 10.
Oh, did they?
And you are?
Current number 7.
That's your mum.
Okay, so you
Although I enjoyed the green room, and I enjoyed the large houses, and you're not living on the couch out there.
Oh, it's nice to see you. My son Tim. Oh,
Nice to meet you, yeah. Nice to meet you.
In terms of my career,
Oh, we've spoken.
the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, we've spoken before.
I miss that.
Yeah.
That's it. I miss the 24-hour city. That's what I'm saying.
When you were over there.
Well,
no sign of
I mean, we were outside of Manchester, so we weren't there. We used to take trips to the city centre and to the traffic centre and later like that, but it's not really the same. Although Manchester is very well.
Yeah.
Fantastic city, but I did miss London.
Yeah, my son's studying at university here at the moment. He's just lovely. Yeah.
We welcome you back.
We did.
He's doing
Oh,
No, he's a big old. No, he's not.
He's loving it. Sometimes I worry, is he actually studying or is he?
I took Joe.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. It's very difficult.
That's
Oh,
what he's
God.
Yeah,
They
so
they
what about studying?
or something.
I know, it's
But
awful.
when it gets inside,
Has he any seen?
Sorry? No, it's interesting.
About 2 months ago, he studied around.
you wake up in the middle of the night.
Guess how much it's like.
Tonight from London.
What's is he good?
He's just been to, you know,
Can't get that registered. He said it cost him more. So I had to register Stansted to park the car than to get to us.
so I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I've been trying to contact you, haven't you?
Yes.
Should have got my number from my number. I did have to voice message.
That's awful.
And
How are you? Yeah, good. Yeah, I think I've got to be a while between trying to keep it on.
Can't read
Being
your
able to 10 or something like that. I understand your point.
But that sort of illness.
What university is your son at?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
It's a
No, I'm a teacher up in Merseyside.
Everything comes into an Tesco.
Science.
Okay, yeah, so he knows my father. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
A whole range, secondary.
I do
11 to 18.
How long have you
Yeah,
been
the problem is that most of my travelling
5 years.
pieces.
Are you enjoying
It's hard work, it's busy, but it's good.
No, there are a couple of
What's the word? It's engaging. It's it's different day every day, I suppose.
What sort of
Yeah, like I said, I have been about. When I was youth over the last few years ago.
So it's quite it's an inner city sort of large cohort.
Going on in the background, I think it's
Quite a few different challenges. That's quite good in a way itself. Like it feels like you're helping people who it feels like you're making a bit of a difference. Absolutely.
50?
Is there 50 over world?
Yes.
Is it the Ashes?
So what
as well?
year is your?
Ashes, no. I think starting,
Okay.
starting soon.
Must be very
Probably the first one started first week.
Yeah, I think that's what you want to be like, the challenge.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
you're your age, his age,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you want.
That's great. I'm pleased that he's enjoying. Does he live nearby?
Yes, it's living in South Kensington.
Oh wow.
I was enjoying the life. Of course, Mum and Dad are paying for it all. So when I do extra hours just to fund his lifestyle.
I've got a ticket for Manchester as well.
Sorry?
England, I think it's versus
But they gave in Manchester for cricket.
Oh, right, okay. Cricket. Are you into cricket?
No, but if I get a free ticket, I'd like to go. So I managed to get the free ticket for Manchester one.
Okay.
But it's too far out. It's in the match, it's in the night time as well. No, cricket.
Moved out.
Which game?
The one I've got ticket is Pakistan versus India in Manchester.
You are kidding.
It's a big
You've got the ticket?
I've got the ticket. It's complimentary, you know, with the players.
You want it?
Oh, go on, you can, they'll take you from there, chauffeur to your car, they'll feed you with the players and everything, and they'll bring you back. It's on one ticket. Sorry.
That's got to be the biggest game.
Yeah.
Every biggest game.
In the world.
I guess so.
I'm told that there's like 1,000 people applying for each. It's about 30,000 seats.
I'm sure people are willing to pay a lot of money for that ticket.
Just for the atmosphere.
Matches start very late, 10 o'clock. Matches start 10 o'clock in the evening.
10 o'clock?
Yeah, something like that.
So exciting.
So, it's too late for me to go all the way this way and
Is there a... We're only one short.
I mean, at 12 o'clock. Mind you, doesn't she work till 1 o'clock as a dentist at the...
We'll give Mr. One out
5
4
minutes.
minutes.
All right then,
And
yeah.
then we'll start.
okay.
All right, fair enough.
I didn't mean to stop everybody talking.
Killed your way.
Should we have a new registrars?
No?
Oh.
Well, what we'll do is I can issue attended Swansea Island Cultural meeting.
Did you just come back from Poland?
Yes. Yeah. Friday night.
So this is like tropical weather?
No, it was actually
No?
quite warm in Poland.
Really?
Yeah. I was in Warsaw. Dzień dobry.
Warm, hear that?
So yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was much like this, maybe even more.
Wow. But I'm just reading history of the Romanovs at the moment. It's not as heavy going as you think, but Peter set up obviously St. Petersburg, and they're talking about, because 300 years ago it was cholera. They're going around and just being pulled around with slaves and not like now. I normally read lots of stuff from that,
Good to hear.
but yeah, it has to be done.
Well, in the centre of Warsaw, by Warsaw Central, which is the main railway station, I think Małgorzata probably knows this. There's a building that's donated by the Russians. I think it's the Palace of Science or something.
Yeah.
And it's wonderfully lit every evening. So it's like, I don't know if anybody's been to one of those glitzy places like Shanghai or something. It's like that, it's different like that in Warsaw. And it is quite an impressive building.
Been to Krakow some years ago. That was quite interesting in itself.
Hello, sorry to interrupt. Has anybody parked a blue Audi LX65, something like that? Could you move your car, please? You've parked in my space, and I've just.
Oh, right. Of course.
Thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
What's this meeting? This is
House meeting.
We're not even meeting yet.
Oh, you haven't been?
Yeah.
Pre-meeting.
A previous meeting.
That's our vicar. That's the vicar.
Ah. Yeah.
He looks young, but he's not that young. Well, he's about 36. He's just taken it over. Yeah. He grew up round here and everything, so. Yeah. Nice chap.
So does he live in one of the flats?
No. He lives in the vicarage there, but he's got a spot in the, and Alan's gone and parked in his spot. I might go to the loo. Take this opportunity.
How many years it is? I've had it for about 4 years now.
So you're going to do
I am.
I've had it for a long time.
Yeah, you must have had your flat for a few years.
I can't even remember when I bought it now. Early 2000?
Okay.
Guys will remember.
Yeah.
2002, 2003.
Okay.
Long time.
I've not lived there that long, but it's quite
Your flat is empty, what?
It was.
Can I just borrow your pen from me?
Yes.
When I leave that,
That's when I went to judging.
Ah, yeah, he's a lovely guy, but very slow what he does.
Thank you.
Takes his time.
Yeah, he was, pulling my hair out. Everything was finished, and his stuff was still lingering right behind his door.
Yeah.
Wires hanging here and there. That's what happens when you use a friend, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to be careful. But he gets it done in the end. I mean, he's getting on now, isn't he? Judging?
Yeah,
he's probably in his 60s or probably knocking on to his 70s by now, I think. Yeah.
See, so I think you probably the tenant I had in there.
I met the
lady.
The lady.
Yeah, she was really
Yeah.
nice.
But I think she had a few problems, didn't she?
That's how
Thank you. Thank you.
The person I had in there before that wasn't there for 8 9 years. And I never keen.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to do it. You know,
Yes.
I don't know anything, but since she's been in there, I've been there for more time.
Oh, you've got that shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, shadows.
Oh, you're talking about.
I was talking about the one previously. Eileen, that's it. Yeah.
She was a lovely lady.
Because her husband died.
Yeah. They were a lovely couple.
Yeah.
I must say.
It was very sad, that situation.
I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually met him a couple of times. Yeah, but Shadow was lovely. I mean, Shadow, she babysat the kids for
Oh, cool.
a couple of hours here and there. She was
Yes, I knocked on the door. Eileen, I owned a company for about 8 years, and she said, "Who are you?" I'm a landlord. She forgot what I looked like. Was it talking about my old tenant Irene?
Oh, yeah, Eileen.
Eileen,
Hardly went there for.
I don't think I saw you for 10 years.
Yes, and when I knocked on the door,
Yeah.
after a while,
Yeah.
she said, "Who are you?"
Did you?
I said,
Yeah.
yeah. You probably forgot me, yeah, I'm landlord.
She was quite good. I mean, she was quite.
She got on with it. She never bothered me.
She sort of kept the place nice and clean, and she sort of swept the leaves with us and all that sort of thing. She really mucked in.
Yeah.
She was pretty good from that point of
very
view.
sad.
She also liked her garden. She sort of looked after your garden quite nicely as well. Did you move your car?
No, I'm done.
Okay, I think if everybody's ready,
Okay.
what we'll do is if Mr. One-Eye does come in to join us as we go along. Okay, so should we start recording
Yeah.
transcripts and everything else?
The consent recorded.
Is everybody
so-
happy with that?
I'm
Yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah, I'm happy with.
Are you sure it's recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So the main reason I've called this meeting is I found out a while ago that the freehold of Parkfield had been transferred to Mrs. Martha Letitia Khan. And I was quite astounded at that because nobody had notified me of that fact, and certainly nobody had asked me or got my approval for that transfer to go ahead. So that was the main reason I called this meeting. In addition to that, there are other questions that I'd like to discuss. And I think since I've owned the flat, the issue has been that we've had meetings. I mean, I remember going to a meeting at HML Shaw's office in Richmond, but there's been no structure. So there's been no minutes, there's been no documentation about what was said, what was agreed, and the actions to follow. Okay? They may have been, and I missed them. You know. But what I suggest, and one of the reasons I called this meeting, is that we formalise the structure and we meet together because we all have interests at the site to discuss events and discuss how we want to manage the site. Okay? Now, my primary concern initially is the transfer of the freehold, and then I've listed other discussion points. What I did is and this is a proposal document. Okay, I put together a document because in the absence of anything else, I didn't see any other documents that were flying around, and nobody else put forward anything else. So I made this document of my own bag.
Unfortunately, I have to leave by 1 o'clock. I've got a flight at 3.
Okay.
So you've got a number of issues there. If I could just deal with what seems to be the source of your anxiety, having not given me the opportunity to, you didn't respond to me in any of my correspondence. I invited Amir Chowdhury in an email, which I think everybody's been copied into, and I urged him desperately to look at the history and what's happened. I don't accept what Mr. Chowdhury is saying. He's spoken to me on many occasions, and I've contacted other shareholders, and I've had many discussions. I moved into Parkfield in October 1995. I moved into number 2 as part of the purchase process. I was allowed to rent the property before the formal purchase. There was a number of issues with the property. When I moved in, there were people like Mr. Duffy, I think Catherine was there at the time, and a number of other persons. Not the nicest of neighbours.
Was that you?
It looks like it.
I'm not. It's not you at all, Catherine. And all this has been played out in legal proceedings. Okay, so don't be offended, Catherine. Okay. If anybody, I'm just trying to set out the chronology, and I'm setting out the legal matrix to allay concerns in a very short period of time that I've got. Okay. There's been litigation ever since I've moved into Parkfield, 1996 onwards. Uxbridge County Court, Brentford County Court, the High Court, the Leasehold Valuation Tribunal. What was it all over? What was it all over? It's the fact that a young Asian lad had moved in, and he wanted to live his life in that flat. He wanted to do it up, and he wanted to live there.
Sorry, Ghazi, can I just stop?
Can I finish?
You're here to 1 o'clock, which is 20 minutes, right?
I can structure what I'm saying.
We have an agenda.
Mr. Chowdhury, please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me.
So please don't go over history.
It's relevant. It's absolutely relevant. It is absolutely relevant, Mr. Chowdhury. Okay?
Let him set the scene.
Okay, you want answers? I'm here to give you answers. Okay? And I'm doing it because I want to, not because you're compelling me to do it.
Okay, guys, go ahead.
Right. As I moved in, I faced many legal challenges from the so-called managing agents, and which I quite properly won in court. And I got cost orders. All the proceedings I won, I got cost orders against the Parkfield management, and they were really nasty individuals. It got to the point in 1999, I said to them, look, I'm going to simply bankrupt you. You can't pay these cost orders. The company's impecunious. You're nodding your head, Catherine.
Continue, Gaz.
No, I'm saying, if you're nodding your head, then...
Listen, Gaz, continue.
Okay.
I don't think either of us recognise the same sort of story that you're telling, but we're happy to hear you.
It's all played out in the courts. I mean, you were what, 3 years old, 4 years old?
That's all I'll say. I have discussed it. That's all.
I find it remarkable what you're saying.
Okay.
Given that you're about 3, 4 years old.
Carry on. Get to 20 to 1 to finish it. Is that
No, we're not in the Supreme Court of the United States.
Carry on.
If it's 1 o'clock, you need to quickly finish it, no?
No, but let him stop.
Till 1 o'clock.
No, let's go.
Can I just finish, please? Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere.
Okay, let's continue.
Guys, finish it quickly.
Please continue.
If you're here till 1 o'clock, then do it quick.
Right. To put Catherine Minor, I want to disabuse you of the notion that nothing was going on. You were well aware of what was going on because you were pally with Mr. Duffy. Everything.
Mr. Khan, can you succinctly, outline your case in the past? Please don't make accusations or point fingers.
I'm not making any accusations.
Discussion.
I find it very annoying that you're interjecting and you're just cutting off the flow. Right, and we're not going to get anywhere, are we? If you keep doing it. Okay. So essentially, what I said is I would bankrupt the company, and I would proceed in that way. Okay. Whether it's accepted or not, it's a matter for litigation if you choose to go down that route. Okay. I turned to the directors. I said, enough is enough. We've been to court. And you keep doing it, and I want my £1,250. They said we couldn't pay you. I said fine. I want something that's of value that's going to stop you from coming back and doing this. Okay, my solicitors wrote to the then solicitors. It's all on record. And these were solicitors chosen by Mr. Duffy, as Catherine knows, who liaised with my lawyers. Everything is documented. Yeah. Every single letter I've got over 22 years. Yeah? It's all here. No. Right. Okay. So what I said to Duffy, I said I'll either take a petition out for you for bankruptcy, or you can pay me. He goes, I can't. And he also.
Come in. I'm so sorry. Just introduce yourself.
Mr. Wadan, yes, that one, yes.
Sit down, please.
Thank you.
Mr. Wanaik,
yes.
Mr. Ghazi Khan is just making a statement about the history of the situation.
Continue.
Yeah, okay. I said you should either provide me security or you should provide me my costs. He said, I've got the money and I'm not well.
Why was it just Mr. Duffy that was...
Because at the time there was a little mafia that was operating at Parkfield. There were three of them. One of them was Alan's brother, who just thought they could just, wantonly just bully people. Okay, so what they do, they cut my...
Do you have any proof that you were...
Listen, I don't need to prove anything to you. These have been legal proceedings, these have been adjudicated on, and they've been court orders. Don't ask me to come and prove something. And I find it very offensive.
Ahmed, this is not a trial. It's not a trial.
It's not a trial.
Just let him make a statement.
I've been to court. Yeah, I've been to court. I've got my orders. Okay, and I don't need. And I find you quite offensive now, Amir. You're asking me to prove things.
I'm asking you to continue.
Right. So essentially, it got to the point where they simply couldn't pay me. So I said, well, if I bankrupt you, what's going to happen? The freehold's going to go, and all of us are going to lose out, because that's what would happen. In those days, it was £750. On bankruptcy, that would have gone back. That would have gone back to the government. So they said, all right, we'll hold it on trust. I said, put it in writing for me. We're talking about documents now. So as far as I'm concerned, from 1999 onwards, the freehold belonged to all of us, and it was held on trust for me. And if everyone looks at the land registry, we all own a share of the freehold. I then find out a couple of years ago, Alan, the previous owner at number 8, they're making inquiries to develop it.
Not correct.
No, that's correct. HML Shaw told me this. Okay?
Not correct.
It's not correct. So who was sending the letters asking to buy the garages?
No,
I received them.
I received them.
I received
not from me.
I received that.
No, I was informed for a point of order. I was informed by HML Shaw that somebody was looking to develop.
Okay.
And I responded to HML Shaw to say, if somebody's looking to develop, that then needs to be put to everybody so that they are aware of what is going on. It can't just... So I can assure you 100% factually correct.
But how can you develop without obviously our consent?
Well, we can talk about that later. I think...
Well, HML Shaw, they explicitly said to me, it was you.
Well, they're...
So you didn't approach them?
No.
Right, okay, well that's the information that was imparted to me.
Absolutely not.
Right, okay.
So you can stop that line. Absolutely.
Well, somebody did.
Okay, we don't know.
Well, not me.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay. No, but it wasn't Convey. As far as I know, well, it wasn't Ali Combs. He wasn't the.
Anybody can do it, but I assure you, not me.
Maybe
because
an external company.
You received the letter, right? No, it wasn't. It says a shareholder.
I do remember.
I received the same. I received the same letter as well.
I haven't got the document, the paper letter.
Okay, we can look at that. We can look at that, but please continue.
Right. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, the title was held. It was held on trust, and it's still held on trust. It was. We all own a share of the freehold. So as far as I'm concerned, I had full legal authority to transfer the freehold, and I've done it, and I've done it with legal advice, and I've done it properly. It doesn't diminish anybody's leasehold. It doesn't diminish anybody's share of freehold. the scaremongering by Chowdhury about, you know, it's of concern. It's not. It's still owned by all of us.
Okay. Does anybody?
No. And I'm going to say if Chowdhury wants to challenge the previous decisions, well, then I suggest you go and see a lawyer. Okay. I've got my orders. I've got everything in order. So as I said to Amir, I said if you've got issues, tell me who your lawyer is. We'll speak to him.
Okay. Thank you for your statement, Qazi.
I'm finished.
I'm sorry. Continue.
And it's not a statement. Statement is what you give in writing.
It's a verbal statement.
Sorry?
It's a verbal
statement. Anyway, going back to that. 2015, we met at HMR Shaw. We voted. We got appointed as directors. And then what Jitan did after that, he went back to the old ways of just doing what he wanted. If you look at the history,
I didn't do what I wanted.
just 1 minute, just 1 minute, please.
You were the meeting as well.
Just 1 minute, just 1 minute.
And so was Catherine.
If you look,
always, you did what we had to do for the 80s.
Okay, I'll qualify those. I'll qualify. Please. I'll qualify those remarks.
3 years ago.
I will qualify those remarks.
Sorry, Yazid, I
I'll
have to stop you here. Are you really going to go at 1 o'clock?
I'm going to go.
Listen.
Can I finish?
1 second.
Sorry, can I finish?
Listen to me. We're not stupid just sitting here listening to me. Are you going to stay here till 1 o'clock or are you going to go after that? If you're going to go after that, you cut it short so everybody can sit through the point.
As you can see from the history of Parkfield, ever since 1999, nobody's been elected, nobody's been voted on, and the individual directors, like Catherine's husband, have made unilateral decisions. As has Jitan. Every year, you look at the accounts, you go back to Company's House, and for the proceedings in 2011, I did exactly the same. We got all the accounts for Parkfield, all the money that was paid, and all 90% of the money had gone to fighting against me. Somebody's made unilateral decisions. Who voted to issue proceedings against me? Who issued proceedings to vary the lease? Who issued? Right. So this history of unilateral decisions, I'm afraid, goes back to 1996, 1997. I've never seen a meeting where somebody said, "Oh, we've got £15,000 here. Shall we take Mr. Khan to court at number 2?" Because that's what was happening. All the surplus monies that were building up, they are either going to a management company or they're going to litigation. And I would have thought that even Amir, who's got some sort of financial background, all he had to do is go to Company's House and just look at the historical accounts and just see where is the money being spent each and every year. And as I said, it went into litigation to fight me, or it went to management companies. And Catherine nods her head. You know, Catherine, that is nothing further from the truth.
I will just say one thing.
Leave it
right.
Okay. Could you just let her speak, please?
Because I want to finish.
I'm not going to say anything more. In response to what Mr. Khan has said, I was aware that there was a dispute between Mr. Khan and Parkfield, but as far as I was aware, between Mr. Khan and Parkfield, it doesn't matter, it was between the company and Mr. Khan over the years, and the bottom line was that Mr. Khan wasn't paying towards the maintenance of Parkfield, and that was the
I'm offended. I'm offended. That's another lie. It's been recorded. That's another lie.
Okay.
That is another lie.
That's how I understood it.
Well, you've understood incorrectly.
So, Ghazi, what were
That's fine, and some of the facts around that were.
You're skewering facts to suit your needs, Catherine.
No,
I'm sorry. I've always found you quite reasonable, but you seem to prescribe to these half-truths and, sophistry.
We need to facts.
Right, okay, right. Okay, this court order is going back to 1997 saying that Parkfield owes me money.
I haven't seen that.
What do you mean you haven't seen that?
It's
the public record, Catherine. I've every time there's been a court hearing, I've gone around and I've put them through people's letterboxes. I've even urged people to come together and say, look, let's move forward. Let's be positive.
I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I've tried to catalyse that over the years. I've welcomed people with open arms to Parkfield, just like I did with Amir. And I've told him, I said, look, it's run down. We've got to do something about it. And the unhappy history. I mean, just look at the amount of money that's been spent. And Catherine, I'm sorry, you were part of that. You were willing to condone all this unilateral litigation.
Could I just interject?
How many times have I been in court with Parkfield over 20 years?
Ghazi, sorry.
It's a really sad state of affairs.
Ghazi, sorry.
It really is. And the sad thing is, Parkfield has lost every time.
Ghazi, could I just interject?
Don't be rude, Amir.
Could I just interject? Okay. We're here to establish facts and discuss the past. We're not here to point fingers and say, you did this, you did that. Establish your case. Yeah. Tell us what your opinion is.
I'm not here to establish my case.
You
sit as some de facto judge.
I'm not. I'm not a de facto judge. All I'm trying to do is progress the meeting. We have an amount of time. You said you were leaving at 1. Is that correct?
I want to address your concerns. I want to go, and I want us to reconvene a meeting.
Okay.
Because I told you then that Saturday was not convenient. I told you that when you sent me that email while I was in Dubai, I said it's not convenient for me because I've got to be away.
Okay, can we? That situation's gone. That's in the past. Okay, let's discuss what we're discussing today. Please state your case, right?
State my case. Just use your words appropriately. Right?
Okay. So let me summarise.
I'm not in the court of law. I'm amongst shareholders. I'm amongst fellow lessees.
Let me summarise what you're saying. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Okay? What you're saying is in the past, okay, there's been litigation between Mr. Khan and the company, Parkfield Osterley Management Company. Okay? That litigation, okay, through tribunals and various other vehicles, courts and whatever else, resulted in the decision going in your favour. Okay?
All of them, yes.
Okay? You then asked for your costs back because you quoted a figure of 1,200.
That was the first set of proceedings. Yeah.
Okay. And the company, or Mr. Duffy, could you clarify which?
Don't question me. Just carry on.
No, we just want
to. It's all there. It's all what I've said. I've said.
Who owed you this debt for costs?
You're cross-examining me now.
No, you're asking.
The company. It's only the company that owes me the debt.
Okay,
surely you should know that.
Thank you.
However, the individual directors are liable as well.
So this debt, which were essentially your costs, I believe, is that correct?
Carry on.
I'm just asking you.
Carry on.
Yeah, the costs. Yeah.
Costs. Okay. So these costs that you incurred, you have a court decision saying that those costs were to be paid by the company.
Well, I'll repeat it again. Everything is documented. It's a matter of court record.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes. Yeah. Right, so you believe that you had a debt which had to be fulfilled by the company, and therefore, in trust, you took the freehold, in exchange for this debt.
That was the agreement. As I said previously, that was the agreement.
Okay. Now, you say in trust. Is that documented? That transfer?
I've said to you, everything is documented.
Okay.
Repetition is not going to improve anything, is it?
I'm just trying to get the situation clarified. That's all I'm doing.
Your solicitor really should have advised you when you bought the flat.
Okay. My solicitor did advise me.
Well, at least you want to check who's got insurance.
Right, so what you're essentially saying is you held the freehold after this agreement. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, I'm going to repeat this.
From 1996?
Your recollections are somewhat fading over the last 10 minutes.
May well be.
Okay, let me clarify it for you then.
Please clarify it for me.
Let me clarify. My solicitors, who are my current solicitors, said to Parkfield, we're going to apply for a statutory demand because they lost their hearings.
Right.
Yeah. I came to an agreement with Mr. Duffy. I said, if I make you bankrupt, and I'm going to go after you personally, he said, please don't do that.
Okay, carry on.
I'm just clarifying what you misunderstood earlier.
No, I didn't misunderstand.
So, can I ask, Ghazi, what you're saying then?
So, I agreed not to bankrupt Parkfield.
Right, and that was in 90...
What year was
that was 99.
99?
Yeah.
And so, Mr. Duffy, who I don't know, Mr. Duffy... And you agreed what?
What he agreed with my lawyers was that I would not bankrupt him.
Right.
And that we would maintain the status quo. He was impecunious. He had no...
This Mr. Duffy was director then, was he?
He was one of them.
One of them, okay.
Okay. Now, no doubt he was making unilateral decisions because I never saw a meeting where he called everyone together and said, Mr. Khan at number 2, I've just disconnected his electricity supply to the garden, and I need your money to defend my action at Brentford County Court.
Right.
You just made a decision. You just spent the company's money.
Right.
So my lawyers, PCD York and Co, said, well, you know, we want you to pay because if you look at it, he's personally liable.
Personally liable?
Of course, he's personally liable.
That's
why I said everyone should take. That's why I said everybody should take legal advice before they come.
Okay.
Council advised us. The barrister who advised us at the time said that the individual directors are liable. There's no indemnity from the company, Parkfield Management Company Limited.
So sorry, can I just ask, after that, Mr. Duffy, did anybody else live here in 99?
No, I
Catherine lived there.
You did. So was that notified to you about this trust?
I didn't know anything about that.
Did you anything? Well, you must have known about the proceedings.
I knew that the company took you to court to try and reclaim the monies that you owed. That's all I knew.
Catherine, that's preposterous.
That's how that's all I know.
I was talking to Terry in 2000, and that was nothing to do about the service charge.
Well, that's how
The service charge was challenged in 2010, 2009.
Well, you're talking about 1999
look at the company accounts, Catherine.
I have done. I've
Right,
got
so
a copy of saying that you were in debt in 2010 by about £8,000.
You know, Catherine, I just get really offended, right?
I'm sorry,
because Catherine,
that's not personal things to
because Catherine, I was always up to date, and as I said, I've got all my evidence. I was always up to date. What you were trying to do, what Duffy was trying to recover at the time was the legal fees, and my lawyer said to him under Section 20 of the Leasehold Act, there's no right to recover, and the court said this as well in their judgment, that the leaseholders are not responsible for the legal fees. So what Duffy was trying to do through his solicitors was trying to cover the legal costs. And if you look from 1999, there's no money in Parkfield Management. It just gets utilised in legal proceedings. You know that. You know that.
I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Who instructed that?
Catherine, when have we had a surplus?
Correct, I'm sorry.
One minute, Catherine, when have we had a surplus? We've always been short of money.
We've always had a surplus. We had £12,000 surplus.
No.
That was in our slush fund.
No, that's when the litigation. That's when the litigation started.
We had a slush fund.
We did the drainage, didn't we? We had the doors painted.
I don't want to go down this. These forcing me to go down it.
We had the doors painted and we had the fascias replaced in the late 90s. That's when we had a slush fund, and I remember us paying for that. That's the only time I remember us having a surplus amount.
Can I just say, since I've become a director, we've removed HMO Shaw as managing the company. We asked them for some accounts to just, whether there's a surplus debt, then offered us any accounts, final accounts. They haven't handed over anything to us. They should be.
They should do that.
Catherine,
the situation the situation we're in now is that either individuals or whatever invested huge amounts of money to buy a property. The common parts are in failing, and whoever's done it, there's been no, if you like, consensus from anybody.
Well,
as a group,
it seems
and
to me,
what we're trying to do now
is
get that
started. The courts on 3 occasions, and everyone's known this since 2008, have said that there is no legal basis to appoint a managing agent, because the whole point of self-management is that you self-manage. This is what you do,
and that's what we're trying to do now.
right? And when I met you last time in the summer, last summer, we agreed that there was no accountability of where the monies have gone. When we met in the St Mary's Hall.
That was in October, November, and that was all about getting the lease tidied up.
Let's go back.
The issue regarding the lease was, yes, it was to get it tidied up, but
so we really need to find. I'm aware of the history. we've got this freehold matter to sort out. But fundamentally, as a group, this is the first time we've all come together. I hear what you say, but this is all about getting us on a sound footing going forward. And there are lots of things that we're all concerned about our freehold, about who's been appointed, where the freehold has gone to. We want to get this regularised and organised. That's why we're here. Sorry.
I mean, can I ask that, from my point of view, one, we want to know what this freehold means for us as owners of the building. Two, there are liabilities, because we're owners of the building, that we need to understand our responsibilities to those who are living there, because if there's a problem there, what we don't want to find is that there are liabilities that we should have covered that we've not covered.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to know is, what are the liabilities, because we want to collect, if there are things that we as owners need to do, I want to come away from this meeting being very clear about what it is I need to do. And then thirdly, I don't know if you've been round there at the moment, but it's a mess.
It's tired.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
The plants and all that sort of stuff, it's never been like that before.
No, it hasn't.
So that needs to be fixed, whatever it is, because I want the tenants in my flat to be coming back to a home that they feel happy and pleased about, not having it as it is at the moment. So from my point, I don't know if you want to add, but from my point of view, those are things I want to know about. I can't keep coming back here from Manchester. If I have to, I need to do that, but I want to know that there's some kind of resolution towards that. But that liability thing, I really do want to know, because if there was a fire there tomorrow and something went wrong, I don't want some judge or whatever knocking on my door saying you didn't do X, Y, and Z. So I want to know what I need to do today to correct that. And I'm sure that those people living there also want to know from the owners that they are safe there too. That's it.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree with all that you're saying, and I think this is a fresh starting point, but we've got to make sure what has happened in the past is looked at.
Correct.
And we move forward. And if it means that the director is positioning has to be we all have a share. It has to be done in a unified way. It can't be done individually, even though circumstances was such. That is now the past. We have to move forward. It is our building, not one person's building, not two people's building.
Agreed.
And it's very important to do it in a democratic way. So this is a starting point, but we need to get to the facts. You said you've got all your information there. It's important for you to hand that over to us, because I think it's important for us to look at that and iron out any problems or no problems, so that we have a fresh starting point. And at the same time today, we decide how we're going to move forward and, elect whatever, in a unified way. It's very important to do that. We mustn't let this be a halfway thing. We come back again. Even if it means we carry on, we do need to do that today, because everyone here, most people here, from far away, and, it's very important. Each vote counts. So we need to do that, please.
Just going back to the management company, I've been told that it's written in our lease that we shouldn't have a management company, we should self-manage. Is that?
No, it doesn't specify what you do. Just generally, I own other properties where there are management companies, and it's just what suits the particular circumstance.
I disagree with you, Alan. I think the courts have made the decision on 3 occasions, and I think you're you're slightly misleading as what other developments and leases are saying.
No, what I'm saying is it depends. We can, as a group, we decide what we do. Now, a lot of people, there are large groups out there, a lot of people decide, you know what, because of situations like this and emotions running high, they appoint an external group.
But what I'm trying to say is not a large block. Self-managing, I don't think it would be that difficult. It's just
it shouldn't
the
be.
grounds.
I think we can get this sorted out.
Yeah.
I think half of us own other property, and have done so for many years. So, changing a light bulb, getting insurance, I can't see why we have to pay somebody £10,000 a year to do that.
And that's what we're starting to do now.
So I think we've got some agreement here.
Yeah, but there are some things. Sorry, I don't mean to interject. There are some things that we do need to get sorted out about the freehold. We need to understand what's going on there, because that's This has been absolute news to me.
Yeah. This is
I've had a
fundamental.
number-
This is fundamental.
Yeah.
Because this is, it's very important to actually know. We all are a part of that field.
I've
got to make sure that that's happening.
I transacted back in March 18 when I transferred this property, this mother's, to my wife. So there's nothing registered on the title. We were, so I was unaware that the freehold had been transferred. Nobody was notified.
I was unaware. Who were unaware? Raise your hands.
Yeah.
So
we were all unaware.
Just for the record,
you were aware?
No, I was not aware, but I don't know.
Oh, it's
like,
Yeah, he's my son.
Oh, I'm
sorry,
sorry.
So my point
everybody-
about this, Amir, just to finish off, is we need to get back to the structure that we all bought into. We then need to, as a group, not isolating anybody, but as a group, we need to sit down and say, we need to get the insurance in place. The insurance is not in place at the moment.
Do we not have individual insurances? Because I used to have, even though...
Well, we should have, what there should be...
I got a quote for 800 and I went...
Sorry, if I can just finish off. The freehold at the moment is the insurable party. And the freehold at the moment is owned by Mrs. Letitia Khan. So the freehold should be insured in her name. Now that's a nonsense. The freehold should be in Parkfield, Osterley.
That's right.
Well, so you say. That's an issue between us.
Fine. Well, it's an issue for everybody.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I've explained.
Well,
I've explained the basis of it.
We need to see.
When you say you need to see it, I've explained it.
No, but we need to see it because they're.
Okay. Well, I think
there's
nothing to understand.
Well, there will be.
We can get a Part 8 declaration from the court, which I've told Tariq about. What we do, we ask the court to adjudicate upon this, so it doesn't get messy. It doesn't run into tens of thousands of pounds of worth of litigation. We simply do a Part 8 application to the court, and we say who is the owner of the freehold, and whatever the court decides, I will honour it, and I think everybody should honour it.
Well, my understanding, just so you know, and for the record, is that when you transfer freehold, you have to notify all the parties.
Nonsense. I spoke to my solicitor.
Okay. So let us find out.
Again, you're saying things. You're not qualifying them. Right. Can you transfer your freehold to me? You can't. Can you?
Sorry, can I?
Can I ask you to transfer your freehold of your house to me?
What in a group structure that we've got?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
I think my
this is important. This is important.
It is important, and I've spent 12 minutes. I've spent 12 minutes explaining to you the genesis of what's happened and why it's happened.
Explain. Okay, you can explain. You can explain. I can explain. We are not legal. Okay. Okay. You've got legal advice.
No.
You've got legal. No. Please. You've told us that. We've heard it. But at the end of the day, what you're saying, or what you're saying, or what I'm saying, it holds what is actually legal. So that is something we need to look at and
I agree.
sort out.
I agree.
Because it is, even I know this, that when there is a share of freehold, it is everyone. It's not a question of a house. This is a building where there are flats, and every individual.
Dr. Winnie, your position hasn't changed.
No. But the thing is, what was done, we need to make sure whether it was done appropriately and whether we really
what Mr. Chowdhury is peddling and what the actual facts are he's conflating them, and I think he's confusing you, and I think he's confusing you deliberately.
Don't worry, we don't want confusion.
Right, because everyone here has got access to. Everyone here can pick up a phone to a solicitor or a barrister and have a 5-minute conversation with them. I'm sure most of you are professionals. And it takes 5 minutes to resolve these issues. Okay, I think what Mr. Chowdhury is inviting everyone to do is just go back into the days of the late 90s, early 2000s, where we just go to court.
Forgive me, this is very important. It's important to move on. We've got a baseline now. We need to move on rather than dwell in the past. But at the same time, the past is very important. What has happened is beyond our sort of knowledge, and that is wrong. So, however it is, I'm not saying you're wrong or he's wrong or I'm wrong, whatever. We all are probably to blame because we didn't actually get involved in this sort of situation. We should have done that. But at the same time, now that we're convening, we should move on and move from here. But what's happened in the past is relevant to move forward. So it's important, like you said, that we do look at that and we address the problems, because insurance is vital. You know, that building, you know, something ought to happen, you've got people living there and whatever. So we've got to sort everything out in a correct way from now. If it does mean more meetings, it will mean more meetings, we have to do it. You know, it's very important, please.
Yeah. Dr. Winnie, I did call you a few times saying, you know...
No, you called me once asking me that you've got a garage, would you like to, you know, we want to develop that garage?
Yeah.
Are you interested? I said, no, I'm not.
Right.
That's the only conversation I had.
Right.
So
I've also put through everyone's letterbox the new quotes I got for the insurance.
Yes, but it's wrong. It's wrong.
Why are the quotes wrong?
Because the freehold is the insurable property, and Mrs. Letitia Carver, is it not Parkfield Hospital?
The critical issue here, as I see
You can
it,
insure a leasehold.
the critical issue here, as I see it.
Sorry, just to finish this off. Who owns the freehold at the moment?
All of us do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
No, we don't. Unless you've transferred it back.
No, you're conflating now again. You've got this habit of drifting.
Who owns the
Right.
title?
What does it say on the land registry? What does it say on the land registry?
Who owns the title?
You know what? It's
No, I'm
pointless
just
being
asking.
inquisitorial.
No, I'm not being
on the land registry now.
Nobody's being inquisitorial.
Right. I said it's pointless being inquisitorial. I'm trying to get you the answers, and you're just ducking them. If you look at the land registry, you own your leases and you own the share of the freehold. Everyone. Okay.
Just for the record, Shallah's produced an official copy of the land registry title.
Yeah.
Can you tell us who the freeholder is on that, please?
Can you stop trying to act like a judge?
I can't see.
It's really annoying.
we all need to know.
Okay.
We're not trying to
Right.
Please share the document around.
It's right. Okay. So it's been done on 19th of May 2016. Okay. So it's slightly out of date.
What's the date on that, Mr. Khan?
19th of May 2016. So okay.
10th of May.
Yeah. But clearly sets out there's 999 years from 1959. Rent is £16. Parties Meacham Estates. Betty Mary Bateman. Gives you details about. So none of these particulars have changed.
I've got a more recent title document.
Yeah. Does it alter the title?
Yeah.
How does it?
Let me have a look.
Okay.
I think there was a transfer on the 19th of October.
Have you got it?
One thing, Alan, how does that change the disposition of your title?
Can we just establish the first thing, which is that there was a transfer? I'll have a look for it, but I'm pretty sure on the 19th of October 2018 for a consideration of £5,000.
Here you go. Transfer of the register of the title. This is the document you're looking at. Where it's transferred to Mrs. Application to change the register.
Have you got it there?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it. Have a look.
Yeah.
Transfer. Yeah, this is it. There we are.
Here we are. Title absolute,
Yeah.
proprietor Martha Letitia Khan of 17 Lingwood Gardens. Is that your?
Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. So that's what it says.
Okay, just for the record, I've been passed the document. HM Land Registry, application to change register, form AP1. Transfer amount is 50,000. Price paid is crossed out and value is left. The application is sent to Land Registry by Ghazi Khan, 17 Lingwood Gardens. Okay.
Is that the document? I think it is.
So if I understand the sequence, you've got something that says you hold that in trust, that title.
I don't hold it on trust.
The title
It's held on trust for me.
Sorry?
I don't hold it on trust, but it was held on trust for me, yes.
Right. And so
on this form, it says
Winnack.
Come on.
So Mr. Winnack, what Mr. Winnack was asking is there should be a provenance.
Absolutely,
That
absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Good.
okay. So
Good.
from my understanding of this form, what it says is that there's been a transfer of title, okay, registered by Ghazi, and this form is dated the 8th of October 2018, and the transfer, or the name of the transferor, landlord transferee, so the transfer is to Martha Letitia Khan, okay? So from my perspective, this is an application to change freehold title,
Yeah.
dated the 8th of October 2018, transferring title to Martha Letitia Khan, which has been signed by Ghazi Khan. And it says here, Director Parkfield Hostelry Management Company Limited. So, I don't know if there's what the actual, well, I don't know if any money's been exchanged, but the figure quoted here is £50,000, but the price paid description's been crossed out. So maybe you can help us on that point, Ghazi. I take it this
The value.
transfer was,
Can I have a look?
yeah, sure. But to me that looks like there's been a transfer of title.
Total fees paid £40.
No, the £50,000.
Total fees paid £40. It's an official document.
If you go back to the, can you just pass me the document and I'll show you exactly which section I was looking at.
I know these documents pretty well.
Just the title deed, the land registry.
I didn't say you didn't.
The applicant is Secretary of Land Registry, named Ghazi Khan, 17 Lingwood Gardens.
I missed it, but why has it gone to a trust? Why did you need to do that?
No, that bit's not.
No, I think what Gaz is saying is that it's been held in trust for him since 1999, and if I understand it properly, in October 18,
8th October.
8th of October,
Yeah.
he exercised the ability to, with that being held in trust for him. That's what.
Thank you very much. So,
Absolutely.
I understand.
Absolutely, 100%.
So is there any documentation for that?
Well, I just seen
I don't need to prove anything to you.
You do to my husband and everybody
No,
else.
no, I don't. If any,
Well, he's got the proof there.
He's got the proof.
right? You're asking me.
I've just asked. Is
Yeah,
there any
all the evidence I've
documentation?
got, I have, and I'm satisfied that I've done a bona fide transfer to my wife for the freehold title, legitimately on legal advice, taking into account everything which I've told you today, which is on record.
Yes.
I don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for the as this is being recorded, from my point of view, I would like to see that evidence. I don't know what the view of everybody else
Who would like to see the evidence?
Yes.
Please put your hands up. How many hands are up? All.
So just for the record, only Ghazi and only Ghazi objects to
I don't object to it
not
at all.
seeing the
I
evidence.
don't object
And
to it.
he hasn't put his hand up. So.
I don't object
Okay,
to
so
it.
can you?
It's a matter of record.
Can you
Will you put your
supply?
hands up?
Can you supply that evidence then, please? please, guys.
You're just playing games.
Just a request.
It's a matter of record.
This
It's a matter of court record.
Sorry,
It may well be, but we
we're
would
not
ask-
trying to be partisan here. We're just trying to find out what has happened.
Yeah, that's all it is. Ghazi,
Freehold is important.
Ghazi, the reason I bought this flat is because there was a share of freehold. And if you're
And
now-
you still got the share of freehold when I last checked.
Well, this form that's just been distributed says that the title...
Well, I mean, maybe you should have spoken to a solicitor before you came.
This form says that the title of the freehold title of the...
I mean, you're trying your best to ruffle feathers,
No,
and it's simply not working.
on Amir's
Right.
behalf,
Gazi,
Alan, you've still got the share of the freehold. Everyone has
Ghazi,
still got the share of.
Twice in this discussion, right?
Yeah.
First of all, you've accused me of scaremongering, okay? And then you've accused me of something else. Let me state clearly what my situation is in this case, and I'll state it clearly for everybody and the record, okay? I'm an owner of a flat, okay? The reason I purchased that flat because there was a share of freehold. The conveyancing done on that flat did not, at the point that I bought that flat, show any debt or transfer of title, any trust, nothing held to anybody else but the company, Hartfield Osterley Management Company.
What checks
Okay,
did he do?
so
what checks did your
My
conveyancing
solicitor who conveyanced the transaction
Did he write to me?
did the relevant checks.
Did he write to me?
Now, if you're saying that that title was not held by Hartfield Osterley Management Company at the time I bought the flat, because you're saying it was transferred to you in trust in 1999,
I said it was
then
held
I would
trust
ask you to
pursuant to an agreement.
provide evidence to everybody here that that was the case.
Yes.
That's all we're asking.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay?
Okay.
Right.
Fine. So good.
So, let's proceed. Yeah?
Yeah.
We're
Right.
clear.
Let me. I'm going to miss my flight now, and I'm going to repeat this now. Nobody's title or freehold has diminished, but by virtue of any transfer. Okay. I'm saying that now, and if anyone has got any information to the contrary, I'm willing to discuss it with them now.
And the rationale behind that.
We're talking about rationale.
Yeah.
Right. How is your title affected?
Because I have an interest.
Can I just say something here?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how the title. I'll tell you how my investment's affected here.
No, not investment, title. We're talking about legal title.
Well, I'm talking,
Forget your
I'm talking
investment.
about my property, and that's essentially what we're talking about here. Each flat owner's property is what we're talking about here. Okay. Now, I bought a flat that was part of a communal group. Okay. Now, when I bought
It wasn't a common hold.
when
I'm sorry. No.
When I bought that flat, the freehold, as far as my solicitor told me, was held by Parkfield Osterley Management Company.
When did you buy your flat?
When did I buy it?
Which year?
2014. Okay. The solicitor who did the conveyancing confirmed that there was issues with the lease, okay, which he highlighted, okay, and he confirmed that there was no debt or umbrage or any kind of obligation on the company that owned the freehold.
Talking nonsense.
Okay. Now,
Let
me finish.
You're talking nonsense because
let me finish,
because a
Ghazi.
simple check,
Let me
a simple
finish.
land registry check would show that there's
Let
a
me
debt.
finish, Ghazi. Let me finish. Okay? Now, what you're telling me is that at the time that I bought the flat in 2014, right, Parkfield Osterley Management Company did not hold title, freehold title.
And it owed a huge debt.
Right, okay? Now, I've asked you for proof of that, okay? Now, the second issue here is, you're talking about the fact that nothing has changed. Well, actually, it has. Because what you're telling me is that I am a shareholder of a company that holds no asset. It doesn't hold the freehold title.
Have you been Googling the law on the internet or something? Because
I find your attitude quite condescending.
I find your statements remarkable.
I find your
You can have a 5-minute conversation.
Mr. Khan,
You asked me
I
why-
support him, and I think others support him as well.
Well, I'll urge you. I will urge you.
One moment, we are all intelligent people. No, he's not googling anything. He's stating what is correct. So
He's
you know,
not- it's
whether
not-
you accept
sorry,
it or not,
Dr. Inek, he's
I'm
not
sorry,
right.
One
He's not
moment, please,
right.
sir. One moment,
He's
sir.
not right.
Whether you accept it or not, those are the facts. And, you know, one shouldn't shy away from facts because it's important.
Yeah.
So let him continue, please.
Your solicitor did not make the inquiries that he had to.
Can I just ask everybody else who bought a property here? Okay. Did their solicitors notify? Did your solicitor notify you that there was any debt or any issue with the freehold title?
No.
I bought a flat at the same time as you.
Who, when you bought these flats, did your solicitor tell you that the freehold was owned
That's the case.
wholly by Parkfield Oxley Management.
Absolutely. Yes, and that is why I actually got this property, because it was a share of
So,
property.
just for the
That's a silly
record,
question.
just for the record,
Keep saying just for the record. We know it's been recorded.
Mr. Wanayak, Jeetan Tank, Mal Gozata, Alan Wilkinson, Catherine Roberts, Shala Hanan, Ahmed Chowdhury, Conway and Bath have all confirmed that at the point they purchased their flats, and as far as is known to them, the freehold title was held by Parkfield Osterley Management Company, not in trust by Mr.
For
Company.
the benefit of the leaseholder.
Right, for the record, again, Mr. Chowdhury is simply talking nonsense. He bases this premise on the fact that solicitors have made inquiries. Well, the solicitors did not make the inquiries that they should have made. Any simple requisition on title and inquiries with the company at the time, and there's a duty of candour owed by the company, would have established A, that there was debt, there were court judgments, and there were unsettled debts. A matter of public record, not even court record, public record. So what you're saying is nonsense, Mr. Chowdhury. And I look forward to the day, that we can have some sort of formal adjudication on what you're saying, because it's a load of nonsense.
Well,
I'll say it again.
I'd like to avoid that, because I want to do...
Yeah, I'll say it again. It's a load of nonsense.
I would like to
Just because your solicitors have been negligent and have not made the requisite inquiries that they were supposed to, I will make a claim against them.
It appears there's 9 other parties.
No. Again, you're trying your best to, you're trying to catalyse dissent against me. Okay? Just because their lawyers have not. Just because their lawyers have not. Can I finish? Can I finish? Just because their lawyers have not acted diligently and properly in the conveyancing transaction does not in any way, disprove or to say I'm wrong in any way.
Because lawyers, it'll all come to the surface. Which lawyer, what lawyer, what does what. His lawyer, your lawyer, my lawyer. That's
what I want to do.
Yeah.
So move on.
Yeah. Before we
Okay.
All right. So are we happy on that question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've raised a question about who owns the freehold title. Okay. Ghazi has clarified that there was historical issues. Okay. That he was given that title in trust by one of the previous directors of Parkfield Osterley Management Company. Okay. Ghazi is very kindly said that he would provide evidence of that.
No, I said we will put it to a court who is the owner, and whatever the court decides, because I've decided. I asked you before I came to this meeting, have you taken advice how we should go forward, what the issues are, so I could assist you with it. You decided not to. You decided to go behind my back and start, spreading malicious and trying to malign my character. You know what? Let's go to court. Yeah.
For the record, that's not correct.
Yes, he did.
I did not malign your character at all.
Yes, he did.
Sorry.
What? You don't think people talk to me, Alan? You don't think people talk to me?
I think the situation is that we all want to get this resolved. We are anxious about what has happened. We want freehold back in Parkfield Osterley. That's what we're looking to try and do. We're not.
That's what you want.
Yes.
My question to you, Ghazi.
You know what? You could have come to this meeting. You could have asked me for the document. You could have asked me for the court orders. You know what? Let the court decide it. Yeah.
What we're trying to do.
Right. It's not what you want, Alan. It's what the true state of legal affairs is. It's what the law states. It's not what you want. It's not what Ali Khan wants.
What we're trying to do.
What you're trying to do is you're trying to belittle me. You're trying to malign my character, just like your brother's done for all these years. Is bullying in his little bullying ways. Yeah. It's your brother historically. Look at
Did Catherine bully you?
Sorry?
Did Catherine bully you?
Well, she didn't stop them.
What we're trying to do.
What you're trying to do. This is what you're trying to do, Alan. You've come here, Ali Khan, Amir. You've probably spoken to Jeetan, and it's the first time Mr. Winayak has come, and you're just trying to urge them that somehow there's something terrible being done to the freehold, okay, and that you've got to correct a wrong. Yeah, the reality is a lot different on the ground, and I said it to you as well, Tariq. Yeah, you tried to urge me in your house that give it back to us. Give what back to you?
I'll tell you what I want.
No, that's not what you want, Tariq. It's not what you want. Have a respect for the rule of law.
This is what I want. Are you going to give this property, put it back the way it was?
What do you mean?
Yes or no? I'm asking a very clear question. I'm putting it to the vote at the same time. Ghazi Khan, are you willing to put this property back to the Australia Park Management? And if you say yes or no, that's all I wanted to know.
You clearly haven't listened to what I've been saying since.
I did.
No, you haven't. No,
Just give me an answer.
Then you've got complete contempt for the rule of law, right? I've got nothing more to say to you.
Mr. Khan, Ghazi, Mr. Khan.
Contempt. And when you got legal issues, yeah, do you like it when somebody rides roughshod over your rights? Your rights?
Okay, can I think...
Do you like it? Do you think I've liked it over 20 years trying to get being bullied?
I don't think
Come and try and take the title. Come and try and take it. Come on. I'll see you in court.
I will.
Yes.
For record,
yeah,
I will.
Yeah. And you know what, Tariq? I'll talk to you outside as well.
Sorry.
For the record, you want to talk to me outside?
Yeah, I will talk to you outside, Tariq.
Can I just make this
When it suited your purposes, you've used me.
Ghazi, please stick to the issue.
I'm sticking to the issue.
Let's calm down.
Please.
Completely disloyal, Tariq.
I think...
I told you before you bought this property what the issue was.
You take legal advice on this.
Ghazi, you told me...
I told you what the issue was before you purchased this property.
But you never told me you're going to take this title away from me and pass it on to your wife.
No one's taken it.
Tariq, he feels it's O10. I think we're not going to get this resolved here. We need to take our own...
It's quite clear here what the situation is. Mr. Khan, yeah, you're right. So it's quite clear what the situation is here, okay? And I'll just reiterate this for everybody's clarification, okay? I'm not trying to roughshod over anybody's opinion or Mr. Ghazi Khan, okay, has stated that the freehold title of Parkfield was given to him in trust in 1999. Okay?
Don't misquote me.
The remaining
Don't
shareholders,
misquote me.
the remaining shareholders have asked Mr.
Don't
Khan
misquote me.
amicably to provide proof of that. Okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there is a disagreement here. Okay, because all the other shareholders, okay, have correctly assumed that the freehold title is held, or was held, by Parkfield Lossley Management Company when they bought their flats. And it has subsequently been transferred, okay, on the 8th of October 2018.
Legally,
okay,
for the record.
Okay, so that is a point of contention here. Okay, the point of contention is here, is did Mr. Ghazi Khan hold freehold title of Parkfield, okay, when he says he did,
You're funny.
okay, from 1999. And we've asked Mr. Ghazi Khan for proof of that fact. It's quite clear.
Which he said he would provide.
Which he said he would provide. Is that correct? Just for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I was prepared to be reasonable, but the way everyone's treated me with contempt, I'll leave it to a court. I'll provide all my evidence to a court. Simple as that. But
So you don't want to provide that evidence to us?
who are you to ask me questions?
I'm asking you as one of the members of the
Well, refer to what I said earlier.
And I'm asking you as a neighbour.
It's there on the transcript. My response.
Okay, so we're all clear on that point, I think. Yeah. We'll take our legal advice.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll identify who we think is the freehold title owner. Okay, for the periods concerned. It's quite clear.
I think now that's been done. Now, should we go on to the next step about...
Just on that, just one clarification. That is, do we each need to identify a solicitor separately to identify this? Or does it need just one solicitor?
I think that's something now which is slightly...
It's just a
Mr. Khan is here.
Yeah.
And we are all here. And, we need to decide. We are doing this, which we feel is important. So I think we all need to sit together and decide how to proceed. Mr. Khan, we don't waste his valuable time. There's no point in Mr. Khan necessarily being here to waste that time, because you
It's
know,
just a practical question.
yeah, and of course we need to deal with that.
I think we should be transparent, Mr. Viniat.
You want us to discuss that in front of you here? That's fine with us.
I'm still a shareholder.
Fine. So the thing is, yes, I mean not individual. I think we should have one solicitor collectively, you know, who does looks at the paperwork and comes to the decision of what's happening here. Because we, you know, there's
it does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would be agreeable to that.
Fine.
You know, we're all in the community here, so we should all understand.
And can I make it clear that the money should not come from Parkfield management?
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yes,
That would be a conflict of interest.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And also,
where are the accounts for Parkfield management? I am now next step.
they should be with. They should be HMR Shaw.
So the next step, please, can you minute that? Is we should get HMR Shaw.
We've requested it several times.
No, so if you can give me also, I will look into that. I can. I'll ring them and I will check if we can get the accounts. When do we need the accounts from? Which year do we need them from?
For 2000 and...
When were they managing
For the
agents?
year ending 2019.
I think 2014 they were.
2014 was it?
They don't seem to know who appointed
Till
them.
when did they? When were
Until
they?
last October.
Till last October.
Well, the last set of accounts that were filed.
Okay. And who took the decision not to have them? Sorry, I'm sorry because I've not been taking interest in it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dr. Viniat. Just let me just get you up to speed. Right, let me just get you up to speed. Three judgments have said that there's no provision in the lease to appoint managing agents.
Okay, so did you take the decision?
I took that decision.
You took the decision.
I took
Fine.
that
Okay,
decision,
so that needs to be just put in for record because I didn't know that. Fine. So basically, we'll get the accounts and see where we stand.
Every time there's been a judgment, I've come round to your practice and I've given you a copy.
So I have not received anything. I'm sorry.
Well, every time there's been a judgment, I've come round, I've put it through everyone's letterboxes.
Right. Okay. Has everyone received it? Has everyone received it?
Of course they have. Of course you've got the judgments.
The judgments?
Not from you.
Or the accounts or what's going on?
The accounts, I'm sure we get hold of.
Yes. Yeah. By law, they have to
what the
provide
current
them.
situation is, but the point behind it is, as a group of people, my understanding is not everybody has or is contributed to the upkeep.
That's right.
And where we're trying to get to is, aside from the issue that we've now drawn a line in that, aside from that issue, we want to bring Parkfield back to the state that it was in.
That's right. So we all need to be contributing what is
So, for
required.
example, if we're looking to appoint a lawyer, then we all chip in, jointly and separately.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And we need to form. You know, the committee, whatever it is, to now decide where we are in our finances, how we move forward. So if we need to contribute, we will have to contribute to keep the upkeep of this place. So we need to decide that how we're going to do it as a group.
Can I make a suggestion, please?
Yeah.
I've been saying for the last few years, I've been certainly saying this since 2011. There's urgent works that need to be done. Now, Catherine knows about the paving, the routes. Am I right, Catherine? The route for the drive. No, I live in Linwood Garden.
You live there, so I think the residents maybe.
There's work that needs to be done.
What I suggested, we should get a surveyor and do a schedule of works. That schedule of works, and we come back and we decide how best to proceed with it. Now, the quotes I'm getting for the route work, it's around £16,000. The driveway needs to be resurfaced and the routes need to be treated. They were last done about 10 years ago. The fascias, the garage doors, etc. You know, I'm quite happy to get up until last year to get those quotes and get the money from HMR Shaw and get that work done. Now, the other issue here is that Tariq has suggested that we all collectively develop the site. Now, I think that's a very important topic, and I think we should discuss that whilst we're all here.
Okay, if you don't, I'm sorry, but I think the most burning question at the moment is the maintenance of this place rather than its development. We need to maintain it, get it right, and then decide about whether we.
Well, there's no point in spending money twice, is
no,
there?
so we must one step at a time, others will fall on our face.
Well, no, because we were going to be spending money twice.
No, I understand.
Yes.
So I think what we should do is what you said, the paving is a problem. You said the fascia that needs to be sorted out. The fascia, and I think we all need to see and decide if those are issues.
Well, we potentially have another. Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Van. We have another issue here, in that I'm not even sure if we have insurance in place for the trees, the boundaries, and other areas of the site.
So that is
for all the communal areas.
This was one of my concerns.
I can confirm that there's insurance in place.
Okay, is that in the
And I went round, I gave it to everyone. I filled myself doing it, and in fact I gave it to my tenants to give it to you specifically, which they said they did. Okay, I went round with the quote from Aviva, and I said it's going to cost us £800 for the year, because Tariq said it's got to be done on the same terms as we had before.
Is that insurance in the name of Parkfield Osterley Management Company?
No, it's in my wife's name. Okay. For Parkfield, it's insured.
Okay. So you're saying...
Can we see the cover note? We'd all like that.
Sorry?
We'd like the cover note.
Yeah, I've got no issues with that. I mean, I did put it through the letterbox.
I've not had a copy. Just saying I haven't had a copy of that cover note.
I mean, I
Can provide it.
Please,
Yeah. But it's covered. It's covered.
Okay. So the next situation, we're talking about maintenance. We're talking about the tree roots and other works that need to be done to the site. Okay. I think we're all quite happy to collectively get together, create a fund, the work that we need to do, to get any emergency work done. Okay?
Is there any fund at the moment?
No.
There isn't. Okay.
No.
Fine.
So,
do we owe anything to anyone at the
There is
moment?
money in short accounts for
like I
us.
said, I requested from HMO Shore final accounts they're providing.
We've asked for that money to be returned.
Shall I go and see them? Shall I call in and see them?
Yeah.
I think there's an issue there. I think they should be written to formally. I don't think anybody should be contacting them.
The account, the actual money the cash is held in. Who owns that account? Whose name is that account in?
Parkfield Management.
Well, if there isn't are we still owners of this company, shareholders of the company? Who's managing the account?
Well,
nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
They haven't transferred it over to us. They haven't.
They said they would transfer it over to Conway.
Well, not me. I said
into an account.
Into an account. We all.
Into an account. Yeah.
So what are we saying? We're going to open a new account, or we're going to manage the same account? And who's going to be appointed to manage the account?
So I think the first step is, if you can, go. I'm sorry, I could ring, but I couldn't. They're also based. They've got in Richmond as well. HMR Shore.
Okay.
I think they've gone from there.
Okay. I think we've got an agreement here, right?
Yeah.
We've got some funds with HMO Shore. Okay. We need to identify how much is there, and we need to.
3,200.
Okay. We need to identify the status of that. Okay.
What do you mean status of it? It's 3,200, which they promised they would send back to the company, so we could get the insurance and the urgent work done. They've been promising that since November. It hasn't happened.
Is the Parkfield Osterley account still open?
There isn't one.
No, nobody knows.
No,
There isn't one.
Okay.
But clearly, for example, the routes, they didn't. The path, they didn't overgo overnight. That's been obviously an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
What has HMO done about that over the years?
Yeah, but don't we have to say to them
They're not
that there's certain
responsible.
things that
They're not
They're not responsible.
They must be responsible.
No.
No.
They're responsible from the call out
It
to
says
say
it
that.
says that funds. They can assign
The
that
directors are supposed to
Yes.
take responsibility to
Yes.
decide how to spend the money.
Yes.
So whoever the
exactly.
directors were in the past, they weren't doing their job.
They were doing their job, but there wasn't enough money in the account to do jobs like that.
Yeah.
There was,
Like what, Catherine? Like what? Like what?
like, we pay for them.
I said I would contribute the lump sum towards the route work and the paving. I came to you and with Terry and I said, look, because you said we'll get quotes.
Anyway,
I didn't say I'll get
That's in the
quotes.
past now.
That's in the past.
Well, we're clear now. We've got an account, right?
Yes.
No, we haven't.
No.
Well, we got this money with
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not what we can do. My suggestion, maybe just a suggestion that you put it to vote, is that we maybe set up a new fund account. Share. We all contribute to that. For the insurance, I mean, we have to check on that insurance, please, because that's really important. And obviously, if the works have to be done, get some quotes and see, and then we have a fund. We create an account. Now, that account can always be dissolved, I presume. The thing is, the money coming from HMM Shaw, that's going to take time.
Why should it take time? They've been promising it since November. It takes 2 minutes to transfer money.
For that very reason, there must be some reason why if you've been trying, there must be some reason.
That's right.
Did you speak to them?
Several times. I said, yeah.
They said, yeah. There's
No,
no issue.
what I mean
We don't know the money. In
in
fact, I've asked them to account for the money that, by the way, you signed my name on the accounts to Company's House.
I've never signed an
Yes, you have. Company's House have sent it. Don't do it, please.
I've done nothing for you. I haven't signed anything.
You've signed my name on the accounts.
No, I haven't. Why would I sign anything?
I've seen it, Jeeton.
Well, there's someone's doing fraud because I've not signed anything on anything, okay?
Those
You've had
accounts.
3.5 years to speak to the agency here. In the 3.5 years, if you went to the accounts here, you could phone up Linda Nasty. You phoned up countlessly, but you never asked for the accounts.
I've always asked for the accounts.
Send me the accounts, okay? You should have asked the accounts.
Where's all this expenditure gone? Where's all this expenditure gone?
Why don't you phone and ask? You always phone
I
up
have asked them.
And what they're saying, did they send you the account? No, because they never asked.
What locks have they changed?
Why ask the accounts?
What's the £300 they charge for changing locks?
I don't know.
They just make it up. You couldn't make it up.
Let's stop that.
If you're the accountant,
Let's stop that line of discussion, please.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into the realm of
history. That's what he's.
Somebody walks around, they charge £80.
Unless you say the fund's not being used appropriately.
Okay, just in practical terms, if we're going to open an account, if we're saying as a practical, immediate thing, then who is going to open that account? How are we going to prevent any fraudulent things? So it can't be just one person. I don't think it needs to be all of us because that would be impossible to do. So I think we need to agree. Shall I suggest 3 people? So that there are 3 signatures for any monies to go out.
Well, that's what it says in the Articles of Association. In order to transact business, there has to be 3 directors.
Okay, so I'm not a legal person, but I'm just saying.
Can I just make a point on that,
sure,
please? And this is only my understanding, but it's my understanding that in order for Shaw to transfer the money into an account, the account should be Parkfield Austerley Management Company. And they will transfer that money into that account as long as we have an agreement on who the directors are of that company. And if we can agree, now, if it's a question of re-election or election, if we can agree the election of directors for Parkfield Austerley Management Company, and that's all agreed on, then we're in a position to go to Shaw and say, we can then set up that account in Parkfield's name with the directors, and they will transfer that money. And then we're in a position to then actually do these jobs.
Can I say that that's nonsense? Because they were promising to send that money to convert into an account into Parkfield Management. Now, Alan's brother, as far as I remember, used to run that account. Alan's brother used to have an account for Parkfield Management. That's where where the money used to go into, and he used to pay the contractors as and when. Now, in terms of the Articles of Association, it says that there should be 7 directors, and of which 3 should transact the business. That's what the articles say.
So who are the directors at the moment?
There's me. There's Carnvert.
You have to be a director. Basically a leasehold.
Right.
And I think what Mr. Chowdhury is trying to say.
So you own a property.
Okay, yeah, number 7.
Ghazi owns a property. I don't know who the other director is.
Well, I've granted 2 leases, but which I've told Ali Khan about, and he seems to take great offence over. As you know, I've been in the loft for many years, and what I've done, I've created 2A and 2B.
There's only one owner.
No, I've done separate titles.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's only one owner.
Oh no, I've created separate titles.
No, otherwise I could create 50 titles.
Well, no, you've got to do it properly.
So who are the directors at the moment, currently?
Well, I appointed Dario Torres, who's 2A, and Shaheen Khan, is 2B.
Right.
And they're separate titles from my title. And according to the
those
articles...
titles registered on the title documents. I don't think you can, because there's only 10 owners.
And who are those
Well, no,
two
there's
people?
12.
Sorry, Mr.
No,
Khan, who are those 2 people? Are they...
The people who've got a leasehold interest in those properties.
Right, and they're not here today.
Well, no, one lives in Abu Dhabi and the other one's away at the moment,
Right.
in Colombia.
All right. So, and was that, although directors appointed, they weren't really appointed, you were appointed by you?
Yes.
But there was no AGM to appoint those.
So, for the record, that was appointed by Mr. Khan.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So now we are in a consensus here that we feel that we should maybe have re-elections and appoint directors so we can move forward, please, because there has to be that.
Dr. Inett, can I refer you to the Articles of Association? 7 of us are entitled to be directors on the basis that there's 10. Okay? We've got 12 now, and as I said to Amit, if he's got an issue, he should show me a court injunction preventing their rights.
My issue is quite clear. Until I know who holds the freehold title, there can be no leases issued.
What are you talking about? You don't. What are you talking about?
Who is allowed to issue those leases?
The lessee.
Okay.
I did urge you that you should deal with these issues before we came to these.
Who's the lessee?
Sorry, Shaheen Khan and Dario Torres.
So can we make a point to clarify this? Because I don't think, from my understanding, I'll take advice. I don't think, from my understanding, you can just create some additional titles to add to the 10 that are there. So can we, rather than have an emotional debate, can we put something down to clarify?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
My understanding is you can't do it. Gaz's understanding is that you can just
and
create.
And the other thing I'd
more.
like to ask, did you get the council, the building regulations and all that involved to be able to do that?
Dr. Inett, that's right. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Okay. All this has been to court. All this has been dealt with.
No, I'm asking that question, please. Not
everything has been done properly.
So you can provide
formally.
evidence of building regulations, council planning and all this for your flat to having converted into
It's been converted
2 flats. No, please forgive me wrong, to 2A and 2B and the leases for that. You can provide evidence for that, but you will have to...
I can provide that I've legally and legitimately done it. Thank you.
That's fine.
So there's 3 leases for flat number 2, is that what you've said?
There's 2A, there's 2A and
2 leases for
2B.
flat number 2?
There's 2,
Yeah,
2A and 2B.
so 3.
3.
So you're saying there's 3 leases for your...
Well, I've been in the loft since 1999, haven't I?
Who's the
Legitimately.
2008, you were in the loft.
No, I wasn't.
Yes,
No,
you
I
were.
wasn't.
That's where after Michael died, you went into the
No, that's nonsense.
Sorry, that's how I remember you doing it.
No, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Brentford County Court, 1999.
No, I'm sorry, Mr.
No. Did you come into my house? Have you ever inspected my house?
I saw after we saw the woodwork going up, and they told us at that point.
No, that was building control, and somebody rang and said it was a fire hazard. They came in, inspected it, and what we did is we had to fireproof it.
Mr. Khan, my concern is I have been to your flat because the number of times there has been leaks down into my flat is directly below your flat.
But rectified.
Now, I have been to your flat,
Yeah.
with your permission,
Yes.
with my builder, as you know,
Yes.
and I'm just a bit concerned
Yeah.
that you've got 3 flats there, and that is why I was querying about building regs and planning. And on top of that, obviously, the leases. So
Yeah.
that is an issue. We can't just do as we want from our flats because they are leasehold, they're not freehold. So anything that's done has to be done in a consensus with permission.
They've been done properly. I'll turn them into 3 studios.
Fine. So 3 studios, you made 3 studios
Yeah.
and with leases.
In
Okay,
2016,
so that needs to be put on record because that needs to be
it is on
clarified
record.
and dealt with. And I think we need to now decide on how we're going to move forward with directors or the monies and all.
So the reason I ask this question is that if there are 3 currently directors, I appreciate one's in Abu Dhabi and someone else, then, and I take it those 3 directors have an account, is that right?
You got what, sorry?
They have access to an account.
Nobody's got access to any accounts.
HM Offshore are the only ones that
Okay.
have.
Where is it written that they are directors? Is it just yourself, or is it actually written that they are directors? Have they signed?
Can I just clarify the position?
Because that's confusing.
Directors. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, with directors, I'm
Sorry,
confused.
I've had a look on Companies House, and I think there are 4 directors and 1 company registry, company secretary. Okay, the 4 directors are Canvir.
So I've been director only the last few months.
Well, not
Very
months.
Yeah.
Were you aware of the other directors?
No.
No.
Not at that point. But
What
I
do
knew
you-
Ghazi was director. Obviously, I saw the names. and
Okay,
obviously
so
now
it's
I'm
news
aware
to you
that-
there are 4 directors.
Okay, so the other director is Ghazi. Okay,
Right.
there is another director, Mr. Torres,
Yes.
who I believe Ghazi has just said owns the lease or is some kind of
Who's got a lease?
lessee or
Yeah.
there's some kind of to me it's ambiguous at the moment.
It's not ambiguous.
But,
I'm here. What's
he's
ambiguous about it?
registered-
It's unambiguous.
Mr. Torres is registered as a director of Companies House, and also Mr. Shaheen Khan is registered at Companies House as a director. So we have 4 current directors. Okay? Mr. Shaheen Khan, I believe, is related to Ghazi. Ghazi can probably clarify that fact. So we have 4 directors at the moment. Okay?
Yeah.
Ghazi, Mr. Torres, Mr. Shaheen Khan, and Khan.
So how can
We have
we...
have one company secretary, who is Martha Letitia Khan, who also owns the freehold title, who I believe is Ghazi's wife. And again, Ghazi can confirm that.
Well,
So-
she's my wife. When I last checked in the morning.
Yeah, this way as well.
So,
Can I ask
And she
now,
loves it.
can we
She loves it.
Shush a minute.
Yeah.
Sorry.
they just have to be a...
can we now, so now we know the
But we say
situation.
anyone
So
can be the-
can we, how do we move forward? Because
Seven
obviously
directors.
we need to decide whether we want that the directors
Yes.
are appropriate
Yes.
or whether we want new directors or 2 directors or 1 or whatever.
I think
Well, you've got to have a minimum of 3
Or
in
minimum
according to the
3.
Articles of
Minimum
Association.
3? Okay, so what do we do?
So
How do we think of that?
as a next step then, the directors should call an annual general meeting
Yes.
where there's the opportunity for them to express their ideas because they were the directors, and for us to be able to question them, and maybe perhaps the opportunity to see whether they continue or whether it's reviewed.
Yes.
Can I make one
Agreed.
point, please, that's this stage? The current directors weren't voted in at an AGM. I didn't know of these people that have been put in, and it was my understanding again that directors should be voted in at an AGM.
Correct.
That's my understanding.
So what's the validity of these directors?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I
So
would
if
like
there
to
isn't a
understand.
validity, then there's no point in having
Well,
an
the
election
validity-
unless we want that.
So the directors, because we have directors, they need to present their case in terms of how they got there, what they did, where.
But they were not elected.
So they were
So-
selected.
Did,
and appointed.
did anybody know about
No.
the election of
Still in Companies House.
No, Gaz,
specifically
sorry,
about
what?
Mr. Torres and Mr. Shaheen Khan? Did anybody here know?
No.
I think the principle is we have to do things openly and transparently.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, I know because that's basically what the law says.
Yes.
Is that enshrines in precise
Well,
words.
it's changed about 3 times since I've been in this meeting, but never mind. Carry on.
It enshrines in particular wording what we all want to do, which is work openly and transparently.
Can I just say, Alan, irrespective of what the law says, we're a community here, we should be behaving transparently,
Yeah.
and we should be behaving ethically. So irrespective of what the law says, I myself,
Accusing me of behaving unethically.
I didn't accuse anybody.
Have I ever done anything which has not been transparent?
Let me finish, please. Okay, there is a level of behaviour, okay, in terms of the law, and there's a level of behaviour in terms of your neighbours, okay, and our.
Can you leave the legal jurisprudence out because it doesn't make sense and it
This has
doesn't
got
make.
nothing to do with legal jurisprudence.
It just doesn't sound right. I mean, what you're saying.
This has got to do with.
You're trying to accuse somebody. You're trying to accuse people of wrongdoing.
I'm not accusing anybody.
You are, mate. And you're offending me.
How many times do I have to? How many times do I have to?
You want to be careful what you're accusing me of as well.
So-
I'm not accusing you of
I'm telling you, be very careful.
Sorry, can I just say,
all I'm saying is we have we have a duty to each other, I think, okay? An ethical duty as human beings, as part of the community, to behave openly and transparently.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Thank you.
So,
That's all I'm saying.
so my
And we have a
suggestion
duty in
is
law.
that, you know, if
What duty
the
in law?
directors, the validity of the directors is a questioning, is in question,
Absolutely.
then do we reappoint or do we have to go to a formal procedure and do it? How do we do that? Because
Well-
that's important. You know, we need to decide to move forward, to have that leadership,
Yeah.
appropriate leadership, so that we can then address all the issues that have to be done, you know, for the properties there. So this is important, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
what do
think-
people think about what?
Is there any reference document that already exists that we could refer to?
The Articles of Association, that's really the guide, yeah.
And is that a legal thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it translated interpreted over 20 years, but essentially it's the document which governs our constitution and how we
Okay, so
regulate ourselves.
That document would be helpful for whichever solicitor we're going to appoint.
Yeah.
They'll be able to look at that
Yes.
document, because then they'll be able to tell us about whether things have happened correctly, and if not, then how we can correct things.
Agreed.
And I think that would be fair.
But it was done in 1979, and as Alan will probably tell you, company laws moved on somewhat from there, and
Yeah.
where there's any ambiguity
How
from company law.
Yeah, how this all started off, and it's moved, and it has moved on. How this all started off was we are all in varying degrees, I suppose, guilty of not being as close to these things as we perhaps should have been. The leases were drafted in 1960 in a very, I call it a Dickensian style, which leaves certain things open to some sort of interpretation when they should be absolutely precise. So when we started this off back in October last year, I was deputed to go to a solicitor and get them to look at the lease and see if they could put it into 21st century terminology, so that there could, amongst other things, be no suggestion that people could not pay a contribution, whether that was to a managing agent or to a self-managing group. And it was from that other things emerged that we talked about earlier on. So from my point of view, I think the way that I see it is that we have, say, 3 or 4 directors, not just the ones that I think have not been appointed correctly.
I think you actually say 7, Alan, and I think we should stick to that. The quorum is 7, 3 to make the
quorum
decisions.
is 3. The quorum is 3. We can have more directors, but the minimum you require for a decision is 3.
This thing, Alan, you say about the lease, we've had 3 court cases which have said there's no issue with the leases.
Well, we'll go back again.
Let's go. Right, so my suggestion is, if we want to get this sorted out as a group, I know there's been some heat in this meeting today, but we're all grown up and we'll get this sorted out. I'm not sure. We can appoint somebody. We can just say.
Well, from my perspective, okay, I'm quite clear on this.
Yeah.
There's 2 directors that have been appointed that I wasn't aware of, that are not present today, that I'm not sure should qualify as directors.
Yeah.
I think they should have the opportunity to have their say. I think it should be done formally, properly. Okay. Now, I mean, contrary to belief, I think.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but you know, their validity depends also on.
Well, you're going to get lawyers to advise. Yeah.
No, the both of them are.
But Dr. Minya, a lawyer's going to advise on that, isn't he?
I know. No.
So until a lawyer says.
Yeah.
To the,
no. The thing
I said to Amir, you come with a court injunction preventing their rights. Because I spoke
it's
to.
not court. We're not talking about courts. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to relay some facts here. Is that
I understand what you're saying.
You've got 2 directors there who are your leases that
granted
we don't
by
know
me.
the
the validity.
Forgive me. forgive me, the validity, you know, and you said very kindly that you would provide the proof that they are valid.
Yeah,
but, you
absolutely.
know, at the moment, there are two there. One of them is your wife, you know.
She's not.
And,
She's not.
No, she's company
She's a company secretary. I'm so sorry. So the thing is, I think it's important, you know, that we, you know, if that is the case, that it is valid, then they should have a say. But if it's not valid, then really we should decide as a group.
If they are not valid, if they are not valid, I can tell you now that they will be removed. If there is a finding that it is not valid, I can tell you now in front of everyone, they will be removed.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying you can't create leases or anything like that. What I am saying is, my understanding is that you can only the, I'll call them the superior leaseholders, or 10 of us, can be represented. So the fact that you sublet or whatever does not make them members of Parkfield Osterley. Okay?
I've taken legal advice on that topic, and my email to Mr. Chowdhury stands until it's been expressly prohibited or finding that they're not legitimately appointed. They've got all the rights of Parkfield lessees.
Can I just ask a question? Who can appoint a lease? So say I'm an existing leaseholder of a flat, okay, and I want to create another flat like you did, Guzzy.
Or just in a room, for example. Let's have a room.
Who in law can create or allow that lease to be created?
The permission has to come from the.
Well, this is a question.
I think Alan's answered that, hasn't he?
No, I'm asking the question.
I'm not. I did say. I think I prefaced it by saying I'm not sure. I think you can go and create a sublease, but that does not confer on those people the same rights as the 10 people who are members of Parkfield Osterley. Otherwise, you know, let's say there was something stupid and we had a meeting and I wanted to get my way, I'd very quickly create 50 leases and I'd have a majority.
Well, from my understanding, from my understanding, the freeholder who owns the buildings and the land, okay, should be the one that's appointing the leases.
Well, that's in theory. That's
I think again you're giving opinion.
I am.
Which is unqualified and is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong, Amir.
Clarify that opinion.
It's wrong, Amir.
You have legal knowledge.
No. Take. Everybody should take independent legal advice.
On that, just so you don't get
Are
I've taken advice.
Are you saying that we should take independent legal
Well, no. I think what's happening
because
today.
in a room that there's 10. Flats
I think there's 10.
There's no issues of creating subleases.
I know that's technical. Just put it in the middle, otherwise you're going to switch it off again.
So if everybody's happy, I'll go to an independent lawyer and ask them to review the lease and come back with an opinion as to whether or not, by creating subleases, they become members of Parkfield Osterley and are entitled to vote. Is that fair? Just so that we know.
That's completely clear.
Okay.
So can I ask the next question, which is, whilst this is going on, is there anything stopping us from appointing a landscaper, gardener, whatever you want to call it, to tidy up the place?
Sorry, I forgot your name.
I'm
Conway actually sent one before Christmas. I sent one a few weeks ago who did 2 visits. It's a little bit overgrown. I went yesterday. I went
earlier today.
Yeah.
This is the picture.
He would have come today.
That's the first time it's been looking so bad.
Yeah.
He passed the phone around.
We've seen it. We live there. We know.
I mean, he would have come around today, but because of this meeting, we held him in abeyance. But
okay, so there is someone there.
We have got someone.
We need to
Yes.
decide who the directors are. Who's going to manage it?
Exactly.
Exactly. There's no point us appointing a gardener and then you don't agree with us.
Well, is there anything stopping from voting now when everyone's in the room?
I don't think there is.
Well, is there an issue with the current gardener carrying on?
Well, can't we start with the directors?
We've got a question.
Let's.
The reason is we've got a question mark over 2 of the appointees.
No, the gardener. Why can't the gardener just carry on?
Well, you know,
He's not expensive.
How much was he? An hour?
I've paid him for the job.
So how much did you pay him?
He charged us £120, which I thought was very cheap.
So that's 2 hours he did.
No,
4 hours.
he came
4
twice.
hours.
He came
did
twice.
4 hours, he said.
Yeah.
So that's 100. What did you say? 160.
120.
120,
Yeah.
so
And he did a good job. He took
He
everything
didn't do
away.
as good a job as the last guy, I have to tell you. That's, you know.
Well, he sent me pictures back.
I recommended.
Let's we're jumping the gun a little bit. I know we're all pressed for time, but this. Can we please just settle the director?
Yes, I agree with that.
Step by step, otherwise
yes.
we're going to fall and go back.
So let's be clear about how we want to go about this, okay? What I think we should do, right? We're in a meeting here. We can elect and we can terminate directors. So we've got that option today.
Well, no, it should be done formally.
This is formal.
It's not formally. You haven't given, as I said to you in the email, you haven't given us a proper notice, a proper special resolution. I think the other directors should be here. They should be allowed to be given the opportunity.
I agree with that, because there are two directors.
Well, you just said one of the directors is not resident.
Well, you can fly back. It's not an issue.
I guess if you call us.
Ali Khan was saying he doesn't recognise them.
I don't.
I don't.
Well, that's your problem, Terry.
I don't recognise them.
That's your problem.
No.
Well, you know what? We'll get legal advice on that.
Kevin's right.
Well, we're going to
We're gonna address that issue.
Let's bring some common sense to this, because otherwise we're going to be arguing. Let's vote in 2 directors to work with.
Or 3. You can have another 3.
Sorry?
You can have another
Well, you have another 3. 3 directors in. There's a here and now problem. We've got to get the insurance sorted. Well, no, Ghazi says it's placed. And we want to start to work. So let's be sensible. Let's be practical. Don't let's fall back on 1870s statutes and stuff like that. Let's just get some people appointed and get this thing moving now. In a common sense way, just for now, till we find out everything else that needs to be done.
Okay. Who else wants to be it?
Well, I don't at the moment. Because I don't think I'm going to be in the UK over the next, certainly not over the next week. So that's the issue with me.
I think it should be done properly as well. I think it should be a question of re-election.
That's what we're suggesting now.
Or re-election and put in new,
Well,
so we should terminate the current directors, and you should reappoint new directors.
Why should you terminate the current
Because,
directors?
you said yourself you should terminate at least a third of them.
I didn't say that at all.
That was in the.
I didn't say that at all. Catherine,
I heard you say that.
I didn't, and
I'm
I'll
sorry,
correct you.
I apologise, but it's my understanding that at a general meeting, it says that you have to terminate a third of the directors, and then the others come I'm just saying that.
Well,
that's what my understanding.
I think as an interim, what we've decided is that we're going to appoint potentially 3 other directors.
Yeah.
Okay, to ensure that the short-term running of Parkfield happens. So the grass gets cut and all other things that need to be done, quickly are done.
And can we all say around the table as well, every single leaseholder is going to contribute?
Yes.
No ifs,
Yes.
no buts, no maybes, no. Everybody goes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that
So-
a consensus of yes?
But the thing is, we need clear, candid accounts of.
We need a handover from the last company first of all.
If you get people to do things,
Yeah, so before we can
it
get.
has to be decided as a group.
Okay.
Alan, as I said, you should not see them in light of what I haven't finished with them yet, and I intend to take them to court.
So
And
you
please do not go and see them. If you're going to converse with them, please do it via email. I'm not happy with them. As far as I'm concerned, they owe the company about £20,000, and I'm pursuing that.
20,000.
Yes, yeah.
So good.
I'm the HMO Shaw, and as far as I'm concerned, Jeeton is responsible for it. Sorry, I've asked you on many occasions, please account for it, and you haven't done it.
So hold on. Why
So
is Jeeton? I thought HMO.
No, because they said you authorised the expenditure. So I've been asking you nicely, Jeeton. I've been sending you.
Can we just rewind a minute? Because this is new.
Well, it's got to be
information
accounted
me
for.
again.
It's got to be accounted for. I'm sorry.
So
I think what we should do, let's appoint 3 directors. Okay, we should then approach HMO Shaw. If Ghazi's unhappy, I think what we should do is approach HMO Shaw through Ghazi, because if Ghazi wants to control the email transaction and correspondence with HMO Shaw, that's fine. So we can stipulate an email and Gaza can communicate it to them.
I'll just tell you guys where I am with Houghton Marshall. My solicitor did a letter before action asking them to account for the monies or alternatively to return the monies back. And then they've just gone quiet on me. So I propose on the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to just issue proceedings against them.
Could I actually do this, Gazzy, in the interest of transparency and keeping everything clear? Get onto them again and advise them that you have the support of everybody. This isn't just a single person.
Okay.
I support you, Garvey. If they have,
they only
£20,000 expenditure on our behalf, then by all means.
Jessica.
They passed it on. They passed it on.
Oh, to the customer
services.
Yeah. But Gazzy, look, we've got the will of this group. We're not going to give up. We're resolute. So they might deal with you as an individual, and I know you're a very forceful individual, but they might just go, it's him again. But it's now the view of everybody. We want our money back.
Let someone else approach them. Might be.
Yeah.
But they will ask if you're a director.
They will what, sorry?
Ask if you're a director.
No, but Gazzy's going to do it.
Let them do it with my solicitors.
But isn't that just expenditure that we shouldn't need to do?
It's my own money. I'm not taking it from Parkfield. Why have they taken it?
So we've got that minuted. Yeah.
So
we need three
new directors is what we're
relation to
issuing.
someone local.
I think most of them are local. I live 5 minutes walk.
About apart from us.
Yeah.
Who else?
I have a problem because I'm already a director.
This is the problem. No one wants to become a director, but the ones that are being questioned.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's quite accurate.
Okay, fine.
Does it matter?
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Well,
Not those
that,
two,
to put the effort in and everything, I don't think I can spare the time.
Yeah,
That's a problem. But meetings and all is not a problem. I'll attend every meeting.
You're local, so you're already.
I'm very local, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I can do it.
Especially if you can talk to HMO Shaw here, you want to be.
We shouldn't be talking. It's got to be reduced to writing. Rohan has said to me, don't call them.
You do become director. No, I don't want to because I'm director of so many companies.
Yeah, but I mean, so am I. I mean,
But I don't have the time, honestly.
I'll do it because I think it needs to be done.
Okay, so
And Catherine, you want to become a director?
I feel uncomfortable under the current situation to be a director because I don't know what's going on.
But then as a director, that would mean that you would...
I think that's going to sort this out. Everything will become more clear.
I have a bit of an issue with this issue of people who are living away almost asking the people who live there to take the responsibility for it. I think it's a little bit... I think we're all responsible for it, whether we live there or not. So I don't see why the onus should be on anyone in particular.
To do with the coming back, it's
Not with the sort of IT skills people have these days in terms of discussing things.
IT-wise, I'm very comfortable with the IT. It's just if I need to sign papers, or sometimes you can't do this on Skype. You have to sit around.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the whites of the eyes, especially when it's complicated stuff.
Absolutely.
If it was IT, I've got roles around the world, so that's not a problem. But actually, for something like this, you've actually got to sit around the table.
But I think as an interim period, I think it would be useful if people did who have the knowledge to understand what's going on.
I've got an address in Bolivia, I might use that. I've had so much tea, unfortunately, I'll go to work. So I don't mind. I don't mind. In order to get this thing stabilised on an even keel, that's not a tautology.
Okay, so we've got Alan and Catherine who are very kindly.
I haven't said. No, I said I wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, because I don't really want to be in a situation where someone comes and starts threatening me at my door, as has happened to Jitan.
Who's threatened Jitan?
Yeah, you've just been
all I've been saying to Jitan for the last...
I mean, he's been looking after the place for the last, trying to do the best for the place.
For the last 12 months, I've been quite nice with you. I've been quite... Yeah, I have.
Just the text that you sent me.
I've been saying, please, Jitan, please, can you just help me with the expenditure? That's all I've said to you, and you've avoided me.
I've
never threatened you.
Guys, that's a false.
I've never threatened you at all.
From my perspective, I'm actually grateful to Jitan. I'm grateful to Conway and you, Ghazi. because you represent us as directors. Okay? We're not legally qualified. I'm not. Okay? And we all make mistakes. Okay? Me, as a shareholder of the company, I'm quite happy with that. If GTAN spends £10 more on a light bulb, okay, I'm happy with that.
We did a million times.
And
But hold on,
if it's an honest mistake, I'm quite happy with it.
They were spending the money. Were you just authorising it?
Yes, I was one of the directors, so was Gazzy.
Okay. So what I don't understand what the issue is.
No, there isn't.
Have you seen the account?
Okay, I haven't there. No, we need to see the accounts.
I mean, if you're
I mean,
talking...
I'm still puzzled. I'm still puzzled.
You can have it, you should have it,
Well, we need
we had it
that.
the last meeting,
That's why-
there on the evening that the expenditure's fine.
Absolutely.
Everyone has, we're all shareholders here, we could all phone HMO Shaw and ask the accounts, they don't belong to me.
But they're not giving them to us. They're handing them over.
Ask them yourself, don't come
They're not
to
to
me,
me, and I'm a director.
ask them yourself.
Gee, they've been scamming us. Why can't you just accept it? They've been scamming us. They have scammed us. That insurance for £2,000 you can get on the open market for £800.
Then you speak to them about that, that's not an issue. If there's a problem, then we need to deal with it, yeah, no problem. Then we discuss it with them.
It's only because Tariq Ali can't force me into going to the market and getting the same
That's
cover
fine.
that I came across it. Otherwise, I would have been oblivious. I'd have been oblivious. I think that's blatantly dishonest.
Let's have a look at the accounts.
Gazi, I agree with you.
We can figure out where
if
it's
HMO
gone
Shaw have spent £20,000 when they should have done.
We've got a case against them.
Yeah, well, psyche, I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's all our money.
It's all our money. I'd like to see it.
Just like every other company has just usurped our role and just taken us as a cash cow over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. If they have done that,
They have done it. They have done it.
then
Anyway, back on, we're going to go on with
okay. So let's just recap. At the moment, it's Alan who's put his name forward as a director, and we've got another two. We need another two.
No, it's in addition.
Yes, in addition to these.
So we need 3 to conduct the business according to the articles.
There's a minimum of 3
Yeah.
constitutes a quorum.
Yeah.
We can have more directors.
Paragraph 7.
Yeah. You can have up to 7.
We can have up to 7. We need 3 to conduct business. And at the moment, I think we've got 3 of us are leaseholders. I question the other 2, but we'll find out about that.
So are we saying we go ahead with that then? Is everybody happy with that?
So who are the 3?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that anyway.
No.
First of all, I want to re-elect the current directors. And if somebody wants to become a director, appoint, and I want to terminate the other 2 directors as well. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it has to be clarified whether they're legitimate or not.
They're not legitimate. They've not been appointed by the shareholders.
Sorry, we've just agreed that we're going to get advice on that.
No, it doesn't matter what we agree. I am saying shareholders have not agreed.
Let's propose that there's people here who have raised validity questions, and it's quite
I
straightforward.
mean, it's unfair and it's procedurally unfair for those people not to be here and for them to have their say.
But you voted them without asking in the first place. It was unfair when you voted them in, because you didn't ask any of us lot, did you? When you voted those 2 people in, you just voted them in. It was unfair then as well.
Guys, they're not elected, they were selected.
They're not elected, they have to be elected.
So, as far as I'm concerned,
Okay, it's quite easy to resolve.
If those 2 directors, you want to elect them, please speak up, because I don't want to elect them.
No, because they were properly appointed
By who?
by me.
But you selected
You
them.
don't have that right.
You don't have the right, Gezi.
Well, we can have an opinion here. We can on a show of hands, right? I'm going to ask everybody here if they want to terminate the 2 other directors. Okay? Can you put your hands up?
I think we need to establish whether they've been correctly. Gazzy said they have.
But
Irrespective of whether they've been, and we're not saying they haven't been appointed.
Well, no, there's got to be a proper procedure. Come on, just be fair and equitable.
Okay.
Be fair and equitable. Allow them to come. They've been put there for a reason.
No, they haven't. They have not been.
I think what I'm here saying is they should have an opportunity to have their say.
No, they don't hold validity. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's an opinion at the moment.
But I know it.
Yeah, Dr. Winnick, that's an opinion, isn't it?
My brother's a lawyer, and I know.
Okay, well, I'm sure you can speak to him tonight.
They were appointed by you. You don't have authority over us. you know, on this.
I'm
And
certainly not happy with
So,
them
you know,
being-
it is, and in fact,
What have they done wrong?
in fact, to
It's
move
nothing they've
forward,
done, Ghazi.
it's
nothing they've
important
done.
to
They're
have
not here,
neutrality.
which means I'm not happy. I haven't spoken to them. I've never spoken to them. I don't know who
You've
they
got
are.
to have
maybe if you spoke to them,
neutrality,
you'll
you've
feel
got to start
different.
Fresh.
I want to get things progressing. We've got 10 people here. We've elected a new director, right? We've got opinions here that are saying that we don't want them as directors.
Right. Can we hold it into abeyance pending legal advice?
But can we,
Because I took legal advice.
and so did I, can we just disentangle the situation at the moment?
Okay, all it will mean, up until now, Alan, as you're a director, you've been appointed, that they won't take part in the decision-making process. That's all it means for the time being.
Just bear with me. Bear with me. Whether they're good people or not is not relevant as to whether or not they were correctly appointed. They're two separate issues. We all know that you need a quorum of 3 people to appoint. And so I know you know the law, and I think on this one you're batting on a sticky wicket, that they weren't appointed properly. And all we're saying now is we will find out. We will find out whether that is indeed the case or not, but I think we all know what the answer to that is. But in the meantime, there are 3 of us who will create a quorum.
I'm happy
Does that make sense?
I'm happy for the 3 people here who are elected to be directors and who are directors to take this forward.
So that's
I'll be unhappy with the 2 people that are not here, who are boarded as directors, to continue as directors. Yeah.
Well,
So let's just raise our hands. Who here would like the 2 directors who are not here, so that's Mr. Torres and Mr. Shaheen Khan, to be terminated? Okay, so Kanvir, I think you missed. Sorry, you missed that. Sorry. Would you like? We basically put something to the vote, and we said, would you terminate the 2 directors who are not here, Mr. Torres and Mr. Shaheen Khan? Everybody apart from Ghazi has said yes. How do you vote? Would you like them to continue, or would you like to terminate the directors?
Weren't we going to first establish if they've been appointed?
No.
What we're saying is that in the interest of moving things on,
We want to get
the
things
3 of
done.
us,
Let's not argue about whether they're valid or not.
in the interest of moving things on, whilst we find out what the position is,
Yeah.
and we think it's self-evident from what we've discussed that you need 3 people, and that didn't happen. The 3 of us carry on from a pragmatic point of view. We don't need the others, so they can't come and plead their case. It's a matter of.
I think that's fair.
If it turns out, look, if it turns out that everything's being done correctly, I'm quite happy to meet Mr. Torres and meet Mr. Shaheen Khan and re-elect them in the future.
in the future, yeah, at another AGM.
Exactly.
I think we've
But
got.
at the moment, we've got all of us together. It's not
Catherine, AGMs have been done away with, by the way.
Well, the general meeting then. It's my understanding
I think
that
that's fair.
you can.
You've got 3 people.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy, but for the sake of moving things forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I think that's fair.
So they've terminated, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am going to have to go fairly soon, just saying. Carry on.
Okay. You becoming a director?
Yeah.
Mikhail is becoming a director, and I'll become a director as well.
Are you?
No, I will.
Oh, Tariq.
Okay, so
Tariq?
just let's clear who's going to be the additional directors, new directors.
Tariq
and Alan.
And are we voting in Mr. Bath?
Yes, I would like.
I'm happy.
Can be a
Yeah.
I emailed everybody when I was appointing Mr. Bath.
Yeah, I thought everyone agreed. I wasn't here at the last meeting, so.
I emailed and I called everyone, and I went to see Catherine, and
Aren't you glad you were?
I'm happy with Kanvir to continue because I've spoken to him and I know who he is. I know where he lives. And he's here. And he can progress.
You know what to find.
So we've agreed we're going to elect Alan and Tariq as 2 additional directors.
I'd like to just say something, just so that it is very, because at the moment it's a bit clouded things, Temporarily, do we feel, as you go out to vote, that we have 3 directors.
4.
No, we have 3 directors, not 4.
No, we just elected.
Mr. Ghazi is going to stay on as director. Okay, is that something at the moment, in light of the other situations that we have, temporarily?
It's a
what do
comfortable
you feel? I mean, I'm just
Are we
asking.
re-electing?
Especially if you're
That's
gonna-
what you're asking, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I would be.
I would suggest that given that he knows the past history,
Yes.
being a director would help the other directors to know what's going on.
Yes.
Because otherwise,
Yes.
without him there,
Yes.
you're going to lose that knowledge.
Fine.
So I think it'd be better.
I think we have a problem here because if we are going suing each other, there will be a conflict of interest because if he is director of the Barfield Code and he is the director of the Barfield Code himself as well.
Can I make a suggestion here then?
Yeah.
Okay. What if we decide that we don't want to have Ghazi as a director, but we elect him as company secretary?
No.
No. What's the point of that?
Sorry, you're threatening to sue me, yeah?
Listen, guys, I'm not.
No.
I asked you a very plain question and I'm repeating myself. Are you going to reverse this transaction? If you say yes, I'm very happy person.
Stop blackmailing me.
No, not blackmailing. It's a
Stop
very simple
blackmailing
question.
me. It's
What blackmailing?
Stop blackmailing me.
I'm asking you a simple question.
There's going to be transcripts of this meeting.
I'm saying it. I'm asking Ghazi Khan, are you happy to transfer the title back?
You have respect for the rule of law, okay?
Okay, let's
Sorry,
not
just
continue
don't.
this here.
I'll talk to you afterwards. I'll talk to you afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, that's the only question I put to you.
Yeah.
That's the only
Don't
question.
show me contempt. Don't show me contempt.
No, that's the only question I
Don't
put
show
to
me
you.
contempt.
I am telling you
Don't show
again.
me contempt.
Don't
show me contempt. You're not bullying. You're not bullying one of your tenants. You're not bullying one of your tenants now.
The thing is,
Yeah. You think you can just bully people in life? That's all you've ever done. You pay workers £20 a day. Is that ethical? Is that ethical? You think you're going to bully me?
Can we
Nobody is bullying you. Nobody will ever bully you. Nobody is bullying you. Nobody will ever bully you.
Threatening to sue me? I'll fucking sue you, Tariq. I'll fucking do.
Hello.
no one's trying to sue you.
I'm not your £20 a day desi labourer that you can bully.
Ghazi,
I'm
you
not
say whatever you want.
prepared to go on like this, just so you know. Not you,
No,
not you.
fine.
I've got to go anyway, but I think we've got to a stage where we just need to... We'll have a directors' meeting.
Yeah.
We'll have a directors' meeting. But I'm not going to do this.
Okay, so
Okay.
we continue just before you leave.
Yeah, sure.
So you'll be a director, Tariq
Yeah.
will be a director, Kandir, and Ghazi will continue for now. We're going to have another, I suggest we have another meeting.
Yeah,
Right, so
perfect.
the issue, Mr. Torres and Mr. Sheen
Yeah,
will be
I'll
terminated as
ask.
directors.
Yeah.
Pursue
Are we finished with this meeting?
Can we calm down here?
No, I'm calm. I'm very calm.
Yeah?
I just want to know. do
There's
you-
no need to throw things around. There's no need to push glasses over. We're going to terminate Mr. Torres and Mr. S. Khan. Okay? We're going to pursue HML Shaw. with his council fund.
Pending confirmation.
No.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah. Afterwards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And we're going to pursue HML Shaw for the accounts and funds. Okay, and we're going to, Ghazi is going to supply us with the evidence of this transaction,
Yeah.
in which he held the freehold in trust from 1999.
Yeah.
Okay? And the covenant insurance. Yes.
Yes.
Are we happy?
Perfect.
Yes.
Right.
Are we?
I
Can I
suggest.
Mrs. Khan will remain the secretary of the company. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Okay,
There's disagreement on that too.
who would like the new company secretary?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Just so that it's completely clear.
Dr. Swinia, is she here that she can speak? The person who's been going physically cleaning
Then
Parkfield.
why wasn't she here? This is so
Yeah, because I've got one disabled child and I've got another young child. She would love to have come here just to see his
then
face.
It's more important because the company
Don't be like
secretary,
that.
no, Mr. Khan, the company
No, never.
secretary.
Who does it physically cleans Parkfield? Do you do it?
Don't.
We do it. We do it.
Let's not get emotional.
We do it.
It's
What,
quite
who goes and cleans the rubbish?
We do. We've never
She goes twice a week. After she picks up our youngest daughter, she cleans up the rubbish from the outside.
Okay, who wants,
Please give her the opportunity to let her come
I think
and
we
say.
need to close the meeting, I think, but
do
I
you
think...
want,
What about the
can I just
secretary?
ask
Next meeting, I think she should be here.
Can I just have one request? Who would like Mrs. Khan to continue as company secretary? Raise your hands, please.
Sorry, can I just, I don't, in the interest of getting this sorted out, she's got no voting rights. So she's not, so if you like, she's a scribe and does certain activities.
Just leave it
So
as, yeah.
she's not a if you like, a decision maker.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she's not.
No, it's not decision maker, but you know what?
I understand.
For clarity,
I
it is
understand.
better, but it's because there's no point in having, anything where there's going to be any
Conflict of
difficulty.
interest.
Where's her
Yeah.
conflict? Where's her conflict?
No,
Well, she owns the
that's
freehold.
really important, and
She
I
owns
think
the
that
freehold,
relieves
yeah.
her as well.
And I
from
think to do
duty.
something in someone's absence, Dr. Winiak, it's wrong, it's unethical. We're talking about ethics here.
Then maybe at the next meeting, if she were to come, then
She will
we
be,
can
she will
then
be at the
make a
next
decision.
meeting. Yeah.
Should we do that? Okay, so then we should have a meeting fairly quickly, so that is important, because if we're going to move ahead with finances, the company secretary is very important.
Yes, okay. So just to recap, Alan, Tarek, directors, appointed directors. Mr. Torres, Mr. Khan, S. Khan are terminated. Okay. Pursue HML Shaw for the accounts and for the funds. Insurance cover note, please.
I'll
Does it?
provide that.
Yeah. And the evidence of the freehold held in trust in 1999.
That's outside of this forum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's outside.
Sorry, what was that? I missed that.
The solicitor.
Oh, that's outside of this forum, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we go with those 5 actions. Is everybody happy?
Mm.
Okay, I suggest we meet in another 2 weeks, if possible.
Can we do the date now, please? Because those are my commitments.
I would prefer an evening to a weekend.
Okay. Would an evening around about this time be suitable?
Yeah, so fortnight, Monday or a fortnight, yesterday would be fine. Preferably not Friday's manic with traffic.
Okay, so how about Saturday the 18th?
Can it be a weekday? Can it be a weekday
How about-
evening?
Sorry, yeah, no.
Thursday evening. Thursday evening.
Yeah, can we have a weekday? I agree.
Or Monday.
Can we have a weekday, Monday?
20th, the evening of Monday the 20th.
I think people are coming in furthest. The first one.
If you go Rosebud, would you go to the Skype?
Yeah, we've got Skype, yeah.
If we could Skype, go to Skype.
But provisionally, is everyone available?
And where would you have the meeting?
You know, we have to progress.
Yeah, definitely.
As stated, then that's the
Is everybody happy to have a meeting here again?
If you can get it.
Saturday, Monday the 20th.
You might be, yeah. I would check very quickly if I were you about the availability of the rooms during the week.
Do you have to pay for that?
You do, yeah, you have to pay £15 an hour.
Really?
Okay, so
Is there
I
no
think,
place else we can go where we don't have to be paid?
well, I can
Sorry,
look for a
you've done
venue.
50 minutes.
Okay, well,
If it's not here, I can find it.
all right.
If need be, we'll go to one of our flats or whatever. But I can find it. Okay? Time to be determined.
All right.
If I would say, are you free from about 7:30? Late as possible.
Put it on.
Yeah.
Evening, is everybody happy with 6:30? Monday.
Is it possible 7?
7? Yeah, 7
7 to 9 or something?
Yeah, 7 to 9. Monday the
We
20th.
must draw it to a close, I think, and then we can have another meeting, otherwise
Can I just ask, in the meantime, the gardens and the lighting at the site, because we've got some old people there as well. So our lights have been out for a long time, and it's very practical and very.
Which lights are these?
It's your inner light, isn't it?
Yes.
Would you go to sort this out? You've got a gardener. You say you have a
I've got
gardener.
a gardener that can.
Well, we've got one. I've got
maintenance
one.
company that
Yeah.
can look after the site.
Yeah, if we could just do that now, that'd be great.
Okay, please, if you could do.
Can I?
Let us know what the costs are.
Yeah, right. I've already got it.
Thank
But they charge £150 for 2 visits.
For what? For 2 visits?
visits.
For
And obviously,
gardening.
yeah.
And if you want more,
Are they the ones that did it last time?
Sorry,
That's mine.
They just not paid for it.
Yeah, but how much they charge?
£150.
You with it per month?
Yeah.
So we had like 30.
It's called garden.
And if you Google Rose Properties.
Yeah. Why don't we use Tony?
Yeah, he'll come today. He'll come today.
They're units up there. I know.
Tony.
So, they're big companies. They're not just.
Yeah, director.
Listen, Ghazi sorted it out. He's coming. There's someone coming today.
Shall I tell him to come and see you?
I don't know that one, you have to get.
What was you say? Sorry,
You
Lisa?
said he didn't do a good job last time.
I said he did a reasonable job, but there was a lot that there's still a lot he needed to do.
Well, if you tell
And like, we had like 2 hours,
Yeah.
35 quid an hour with Tony. That was 70 quid a visit, 140 quid. And he was an excellent, he was a proper gardener. He was a proper gardener. He knew what to cut, what not to cut. We've got a whole load of weeds in the middle there that need attention. All I'm saying is, why do we need to sack someone who's doing such a good job? That's all I'm saying.
Because Tony,
Yeah,
because we're
living
inside,
there.
we see sort of see the detail.
Yeah.
Tony was actually a lot better gardener. So
Yeah.
it was.
Oh, shall we just? Okay.
Not to come.
Yeah.
No, I didn't tell him not to come.
Tony.
Okay, so let's get
Tony.
So we're okay to get Tony back because he
Well,
kept.
shall we just use this guy for today? Because he's coming
If it's coming, let's get some funding out today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
The
think
guy's actually, he's a nice person.
Yeah, he is nice.
He's not-
Trust me, he's a nice chap. That's not the issue.
It was, but today this other guy can't, and that's a later.
Well, I think people are starting to go. We'll discuss that. Yeah, we're going to be here.
This is the thing, he understands about trees,
Sorry. I'm only concerned because, do you know the lights in my side?
I took
At
the
the
ball
top.
back, I did try and get a ball.
Only because the couple in number 10 are quite old.
Yeah, well, we've actually replaced them.
You
We
did
have
the
replaced
outside
them, the outside ones.
But the one inside.
Yeah, we couldn't reach that. That's why we didn't do it.
Needs
Yeah.
doing because they just.
Well, I'm just saying we did it. Yeah, we won't let things out.
So I don't-
It's dangerous
I
for
don't know where that
people.
comes.
Yes.
That comes here now. We fix that. That's it. That we need to fix that line.
But we have to
Anything to do with
decide what, we don't want to open a bank account, anything like that. Where the money's.
Well, this depends on our discussions with H&R Shaw.
Which I think
Once
Alan.
we know where we are
let's.
with H&R Shaw in terms of accounts and bank accounts. then
But if it drags on, I mean, we should have time then.
Is it?
So if it's a discussion, let's say for a week, not longer than that.
There's only several other white papers as well.
I know about one, but apparently one up in the other.
Well, I'm thinking
It's just the upstairs landing
I think
thing,
it's
isn't it?
worth you paying, everyone should.
Somebody has an access.
Call Jackie.
Guys, if you just tell them what the cost is, and we'll
Yeah.
just do it.
I'll just do it.
All right.
Let's do it proper.
Meeting finished.
I'm just saying, you're saying 2 weeks. Is there any reason why 2, not 1?
Well, it's because of Alan. Alan's saying that he
can't be,
he
won't be.
wouldn't be available within
All
2
right,
weeks.
okay.
So that's why I
Yeah, I think
give it a couple of weeks.
Okay,
All right,
fine.
thank you
Yeah,
all.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome to have a cup of tea in the flat if you want.